listen, pass it along. Pass it along. It's always good to welcome in newcomers to the program. I met one over the weekend. Met somebody who's only been listening for about 6 months, Tom. How about that? First of all, happy Cinco de Mayo, buddy.
Heyo, Presidente Monday.
It's always, I forget. Just because I've been on the air 27 years doesn't mean all the people have been listening for 27 years. There's people that have been listening for 5 years, 2 years, 6 weeks. And then there are people who have been listening for all 27 years. Pretty impressive.
19 years I've been listening to this program.
19?
Yeah, 2006 is when I found it.
Man, that's crazy. And you couldn't have known that you would have been working on it for a good bit of those 19, buddy.
Go figure. Life is funny like that.
Yes, it is. I hope everybody had a great weekend. That was fun. Listen, as a sports fan, I had fun this weekend because obviously our series, between what took place, that should have been a sweep. Really should have been a sweep when you think about it. Very frustrating. I would maintain, and I don't like to make excuses because it was what it was, but I would argue if those rains don't come, it's going to be a sweep.
You are correct.
It's going to be a sweep. They know it. We know it. Everybody kind of knows it. But, hey, it happened, and that's why Sunday was important. That's why it was really important and game that, that they conclude the other one, you lose that one. You needed to win that game. Tom, it's rare that I would ever say a regular season game portends of future success in the postseason, but I can sometimes pinpoint a game that can lead to failures in the postseason. And I would argue up 10-0 if they lose that game, you're spelling the end of any kind of a postseason run. And there's no evidence to support my claim.
No, but
yeah.
For those of us who lived it in the moment yesterday and didn't catch the box score later and say, oh my God, we run ruled them.
Ruled that ass.
That is correct. That is how the game ended. However, it was in doubt for about every minute until 10-0 until about 20 minutes before the run rule, because it got out of hand fast. I mean, it was 11-9, 12-9, and you're still thinking, dear God.
You didn't trust it at all.
Yes. Yeah, the tortoise is going to win this race, not the hare, because we raced out to 10-0. We now have a definition of what we are comfortable with in terms of a lead and not having a lead or the deficit, and it's double digits. It depends on the inning. It's a sliding scale, but if we're in the fourth and we lose our starter in a regional or in a super regional and we're up 10-1, I don't feel comfortable, and I shouldn't.
You shouldn't. No, I didn't. I didn't. When it got to 10-5, when they got out of that inning and it was 10-5, I went, oh, man, they're not done scoring. This isn't, we need to pile on these runs. Pile on these runs with the quickness, because you could see it coming. It was all unraveling. And, listen, I don't know if I'm Clemson today. I'm feeling pretty dejected. I'm feeling like, hey, we probably should have got swept. We didn't. Good job stealing that one, guys. Thank heavens for the rains.
And Cantarella's catch.
Well, yes, that catch was awesome. He's a good player. But anyhow,
that was his game.
Yeah,
Saturday was the Cantarella game.
Yes, it was. But that said, they came into this series with the much better bullpen. Statistically across the board, and when you looked at their arms out of the bullpen, Clemson came into this series feeling not just like they had a distinct advantage there, but an overwhelming advantage. Their ERA collectively was in the high threes. Ours is above 6, as I pointed out on Friday's show, much to your chagrin. You were like 6?
Yeah. I think it went up over the weekend.
So, when it became a bullpen game, you're like, and then we lit their ass up. And there's something amazing, because it doesn't happen a lot in baseball, the way it does in football, the way it does in more physical sports. There's something pretty amazing about the analogy of watching Clemson as a fighter expend every ounce of energy they had. It's like you see it with basketball on the runs where teams are down 24 and they storm back to pull within 3. And then the next thing you know, they lose and the final points are, they lose by 11 and the game ended on an 8-0 run the other way because they're exhausted. They're just everything they had to get back.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think, aiding that run to get it close would have been a couple of backcourt violations, maybe 3 or 4 3-second violations.
Yeah.
Not getting a shot off of a shot clock violation, live ball turnovers. That's what those walks were. And the hit batsman.
And
the free passes and the interminable, oh my God, we're going to walk how many in a row? When's this going to stop? Sequence of 15 minutes begets 20 minutes because you're trying to find somebody else in the pen.
It's not the first time we've had this issue where walks are a topic.
But the positive of it is, you talk about a moment that defines what a team couldn't be in the postseason. I now know that thing that happens with the lineup in the dugout, with the bats, working it and continuing to say to themselves, 11's not enough, 12's not enough.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. That's in them now, which gives me much more confidence that if they have to play on a Sunday on a regional weekend, or they have to play on a Sunday of a super regional weekend, they now know that they can draw back to this experience against a top 5 team and they can club you to death. Good, because they're probably going to need to at least once or twice on the way to Omaha if they can get that far.
You really felt like a couple of things here. I used the beleaguered, exhausted fighter who's on the brink. The fact that we watched that offense knock Clemson, the fighter, out. There was something to that. There was something that was more than just, it's a run rule. 20-9, get you some. It is get the hell up out of here. You're not good enough. It is pow, but that relentlessness over and keep swinging.
It looks like another breakthrough moment for Miles Bailey this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this yesterday, of course, it's well documented, and you could see that he hits it off the trademark or off the end of the bat. He launches it 44 degrees in the air. He's
straight up in the air.
He's going to leave the yard. He's still that strong, and the exit velos like at 92, 93. But I'm watching the at bats from the weekend, and I think you have another confidence breakthrough moment. Of course, the ability's there, but his margin for error is so much wider than Shmela's margin for error. He hits his first home run of the season.
By the way.
And it was.
Yeah.
But he really's got to square one up. Because if he hits one off the trademark, so to speak, or if he hits one off the end of the bat, well, it's a can of corn. For Miles Bailey, if he does that, it's a home run, or it's a double off the base of the wall in left center. Like, watching those at bats is impressive. Chase Williams again this weekend was a menace.
That offense that he's providing now is the surprise. The speed is there. We know that. You're going to watch him do things on the base paths when he's able to get there, and you're going to see him do some things out in the outfield occasionally too with that speed. But he's driving in big runs. He's having big at-bats. It's not just like, oh, man, my man's on base. Here comes a steal of second and third. No, he's driving in runs.
And he's wound very tight.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. I mean, he will screw himself into the ground on a strikeout, too. He'll do a 360, and he'll pound the bat, and he'll walk back to the dugout. I know he wants to switch it. He really does. But just the intensity that he brings, I would love for him to be connected better to the top of the order, but he also creates his own third of the order. He is his own offensive factory in that 7-hole, so I can kind of see what they're doing there. And you got production from up and down the lineup this weekend. Max had his moments on Friday night.
Oh, yeah, he did.
This thing is very, very close to a sweep, and that's a heroic effort at a Volini, especially when, what are we getting, an inch of rain every 10 minutes? With that deluge that he was pitching through, that was nuts.
Yeah, he's a stud, man. He's had one bad outing this year. That's it. And it wasn't even that bad. He's just been really, really good. And you like his makeup an awful lot. Like, I think he's a tough kid. I think, and he is. So listen, this is where you get excited. If you start thinking about the postseason, and I do now. Florida State's in a great position. And look, I don't care about college baseball rankings. There are a lot of different outlets that do that. And, you're anywhere from number 2 in the country to 20th in the country. And it doesn't really matter. What matters is whether or not you play well enough and have the resume to be hosting throughout the postseason. In your efforts to get back to Omaha. Just be that, and you'll be in good shape. And they're in a really good position to be that now. That was a big series win. I've watched more college baseball this year across. Now, obviously, I don't miss Florida State games, but I'm talking about other college baseball teams and programs. And it's interesting because depending on the weekend you're watching another one of the ranked teams, you can watch and go, oh, I don't know if we got anything for that. I think we got a problem here. And that same team a week later will get swept by a team who you might not have been impressed with if you watched them earlier in the month or late last month. And so it really has been, I mean, the inconsistency of the upper echelon in college baseball, us included, you know, the variables, like Florida State can look like at times certain games like the best team in baseball. They can. Like when they put it all together, you get a 4 or 5 home run game. You're menacing on the base path, so you see the physicality, as Link likes to say, with launching the ball out of the yard, but then also running the base as well. If that happens to coincide on a night where Jamie Arnold's got his best stuff, and you see those two things married, you'd go, if you're a one-off flipping the channels and you root for LSU or you root for any other team, somebody in the SEC, and you saw that, you go, ooh, Florida State is effing good. We got a problem if we face them. But then another night you watch us and you watch that bullpen and you go, ooh, well, okay. Yeah, I'm all right. We'll be okay.
Yeah, you see 4 go to the backstop.
Yeah.
And free bases.
Yeah, they're not good behind the plate. Yeah. They can't throw strikes. They don't have anybody they believe in out of the bullpen. This is a nut. It's weird because they're broken in that way, and yet they're very, very strong. And I would apply that same sort of descriptor to at least 6 or 7 of the top 10 teams that I've seen play this year. I've watched a lot of those teams play, and they're all kind of hiding something.
Yeah, agreed. And I think what you learned this weekend is against a top 5 opponent, top 10, however you want to label Clemson RPI-wise or ranking-wise, you can win a super regional in the unconventional way. Now, I'll just keep it to me. I thought that you were going to have to win most of your big series in 2 games, Friday and Saturday. Like that Sunday thing, not so sure about. Now, you don't want to keep flipping the coin with a slugfest on a Sunday.
No.
But that's where we're going to have to live in all likelihood if there is a game 3 for us in our future in a super regional, or if we get into Omaha and we're in a bracket of some kind, you're going to have to figure out how that third game's going to go. And that's why I thought Vellini's performance on Saturday was so huge, because he knows what his bullpen isn't behind him. It's not consistent. So I'm going to have to give you length here. It's the same thing he did when we took that big lead against Miami, the Thursday of that weekend series down there. You could see him switch modes. He's like, oh, I'm just going to give you length now. I don't really care about strikeouts. The more innings I give you with this giant lead, the better we're suited for game 2 and game 3 of the series. Like, he has that mindset that flips. It's a playoff mindset. If this was the pros, you'd be like, oh, that's a playoff arm right there. And so you have that effort, which is great to learn about Vellini. But then you have the defiance of the bats. On Friday, the defiance in a moment where Clemson rallies, and it's oh so predictable because they get Arnold off the mound. Here they come. It's 4-2.
Didn't take long. You
refuse to lose. And then you get down 5-4, and you refuse to lose. And then in a different way, but kind of the same, yesterday, you're up 10-0. That's a refusing to lose after a heartbreak 45 minutes earlier with the completion of game 2. You storm out to the lead, and we're falling to pieces with our arms, and you refuse. I love that defiance, man. That's gonna serve them well.
Yeah, they got that stuff in them, right? They're tough. They got a good mental makeup to them.
Given the arms we have, you're going to need it.
Yeah, you are. You're going to have to just keep this is why the approach, it gets talked about a lot. Link talks about the ABs and the approach a lot. Whenever he talks about offense or when we fail, he brings that up. It's because he knows just how important it is that they remain patient, that they have good at-bats. Good things will happen because they have the talent. They have the requisite talent. But when you get out of your comfort zone and you start pressing a little bit, which can easily happen when you're worried about scoring runs because your bullpen is ass. So you can sit there and think too much about the need to produce in this AB. But this AB is just one AB, and he gets into the mentality a lot of how they need to be thinking about these at-bats. And I thought that when it got close, when they came all the way back, and there you were on the verge of really repeating the catastrophe from a year ago. It was that series a year ago that made us all sick to our stomachs. I mean, commanding leads at Clemson. You blew an 11-2 lead. at Clemson. It was ridiculous, not to mention the ridiculous song and the stadium ops that I've complained about for the better part of a year. Can you imagine, Tom, that if you had done it again, if you'd been clearly the better team through 2 games, you were the better team through 2 games, and yet there it was at 1 game apiece. So you're already a little miffed that you were the much better team for the better part of 18 innings, and yet it's 1-1. And then you're up 10-0 just to drive the point home that you're the much better team, and all of a sudden it's a 2-run game. And you're sitting there going, okay, this is what you are then. You're fragile. That's how close it is. But instead, those at-bats are great. They wear Clemson down. Clemson likes to think certainly they're back in it. Why wouldn't they? They've rallied all the way, and yet you keep tacking on. You keep adding on. You keep having great at-bats. You keep passing it down the line. Bunch of different guys stepped up big. It's not just one person that's leading the way. It's a lot of guys in that lineup that had big, big days.
Oh, I love Harrelson, and
We have 4 hits.
A ton of energy. I don't know about the dance
routine
routine at second base,
but
I mean, he's been a monster. He was a monster all weekend. He's a perfect table setter. Just the sequencing of the lineup is coming to life, and what Chase Williams brings is just
it's fun to watch.
There's
man.
Another element. Yes, there's the getting on the base path thing, which provides so much pressure. I mean, you saw yesterday. I think a wild pitch with runners on the corners yesterday is totally due to worrying about him at first base. The pressure he puts on you in that regard, but then also he's just a hitter. Like it's not about let's get this slappy on first and let him go to work. No, man, He'll drive the ball. He'll get the ball. He'll aim it. If there's a shift or they're shading him to a certain direction in the infield, he you can tell he senses that, and he's trying to place the ball in a situation where you need a base hit. He understands that. He's line drive to right center, line drive to left center. He's a spark plug from an energy standpoint. It's the extra dimension that they were missing offensively.
Well, how about that catcher for Clemson yesterday, just knowing when he's going to steal third, and everybody in the ballpark knows he's going to steal third. Yep. They've thrown the second 5 times. It felt like, and he's going to steal third, and he just drops the ball because he can't. He knows he doesn't have. There's no wasted motion. I can't have anything off here. I can't get this kid, and he rushes it and doesn't catch the ball. And so, yeah, it's. By the way, can I tell you? I just think that they may end up having to do away with reviews in college baseball. They don't know what they're doing.
Oh, the Bailey slide?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
What are we doing? And if you don't believe it because the camera work is shoddy and the quality of the shot is shoddy, then just look at the Clemson player who recognizes he didn't tag him and races back over to do it because he knows he didn't tag him. And you can look at that sort of thing on review and like, why did he do that? Well, because he knows he didn't tag him is why.
And I would just say a note to those that are in the booth yesterday. It was Chip Baker and Chavez. Go ahead and opine openly that the call should go Florida State's way. It is a conspiracy theory I have, but I believe it, especially in the lower levels where there's less technology, that an umpire could be influenced by the booth saying, well, that's clearly. I mean,
you mean when Miles gets hit and the pitcher tries to argue that he leaned into it, he clearly didn't? What are we wasting our time for?
That was a waste of our time. No, but I really believe, the overslide on second by Clemson's runner where we get him on the way back. I think that's conclusive, but it's pretty damn
conclusive
close.
Though. Yeah.
But I do like the conviction with which the booth speaks because I don't know, man. I feel like they're watching the game broadcast and hoping that the game broadcast shows the replay. Because how else can you explain it taking that much time? I heard them say it yesterday. Well, they have an iPad and they can zoom in. I'm like, really? Can they? Because if they could, then they'd be out of the dugout in 30 seconds.
There's 2 things wrong with the way they do review. I don't know. I feel like they review too often, first of all. Everybody does this with I would never I'd tell a kid you can never do it again. Every kid that's called out does that. No matter what. No matter what. I'm like, man, you were out by 7 feet. This isn't close, sir. Why do you all think you're safe? You can't possibly think that. Stop it.
It's because they're in the movie and it's like the loser's limp. It's the same thing.
Drives me batty. So they review too many things because they allow kids to just grab their ears a million times over. And then secondly, I would tell you that review process takes way too long. When they get it wrong, they frequently do not overturn it. even when in the face of overwhelming evidence, they don't do it. It's like, what else do you need? And so I'm tired of it.
Yes.
I'm almost wishing they wouldn't even have it.
Well, and the offending umpire is the one that gets to go in there too. You got to take it out of his hands.
Yeah, man.
It's called recusing yourself of the situation.
Yeah, it's, they go in there and lobbying for their call. It's nonsense.
But that's part of it all too with the umps. I mean, yesterday's home plate ump, really, that inside corner to the righty, outside corner to the lefty.
Yep.
It was a coin flip all day.
It was kind of fun to guess.
Yes. Certain innings he'd take off, certain innings like, ha ha. But everybody believes they're in a movie in a college baseball game. The pitchers do, the hitters do. It's a single, it's a double, it's a walk. And then the umpire, you notice yesterday, swinging strikeouts, he would still go through the full motion with his arms.
Yeah.
That's for called strike 3 only, sir.
You kind of need to know the rules of the game here, my man. That's not what you do.
And we don't need to trot in front of home plate to point to the sky that Max has been, or that Miles has been hit in the shoulder, and then point to the bag. Just point to the bag, man.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he was young.
Everybody's very into it.
Maybe he was young. I need to see. Did he grow up in the camera era?
Well, that's one thing we blame kids for that often. I did want to say on a Monday, well, umpires have been doing that and officials have been doing that for generations. Everybody thinks they're a star in the umpire community or the NBA official or college basketball official. You could just call a charge, but that's not as fun as doing a triple shimmy thrust.
Yeah.
And then pointing.
If you really got into it and did the triple shimmy thrust, then I'm for it. Do it. Hump the ground, dude. Go ahead. Whatever.
Well, then we should be okay with Max Williams humping the ground on the way to first.
I don't care if he humps the ground. You just can't tell a pitcher that he's an F and P word just because you hit a ball off of him. I mean, I don't care if he humps the ground. He can moonwalk to first for all I care. That's not the problem I have with him.
You're the ground. What I'm doing to the ground right now is what I did to you.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Ready to spice things up, Tallahassee? Slide into the all-new Tallulah Love Shop, your one-stop pleasure palace. From sensual toys and steamy couples kits to luscious aphrodisiacs and pheromone perfumes that whisper, yes. And oh, don't forget the THC slushies, flower, 7-0 kratom, and sweet edible treats that hit just right. Grab your partner or come solo and see the all-new Tallulah Love Shop at 1530 Mahan Drive. More love, more fun, always at Tallulah.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Do you have spring fever? Your only prescription is the Lawn Johns. Hi, it's Mark from the Lawn Johns. We can make your landscape more appealing by providing you with award-winning lawn care. With 4 levels of service, the Lawn Johns offers you more choices than the rest. More flowers, more mulch, or more pine straw all means that your home or office will be more beautiful than ever. So if you've got spring fever, go to thelawnjohns.com or just look for our big purple truck.
I gotta have more cowbell.
Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
Tired of spending money on bug spray and inhaling all those fumes every time you want to go outside? Treat your yard so you can stop spraying your kids.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control has a solution to this persistent problem. Paul's has a program which seeks the grounds, flower bed, and shrubs. Paul's controls pesky mosquitoes year-round, which means you can take back control of your yard. Not only are mosquitoes a physical irritation, they also pose a potential health risk to people and pets. With Paul's targeted techniques, you can rest assured that your yard will be protected and your afternoons will stay fun.
Take back your yard. Don't let mosquitoes interrupt the fun. For more information, go to callpauls.com. For the elimination of termites or any other pests,
And a greener lawn, too.
call Pauls. We'll get them all.
Pulse can help eliminate fire ants from your lawn, too. We'll help you take your yard back.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I did enjoy, by the way, the playing of that godforsaken song after we ruled them. That's a nice touch. That's well done.
They were ready.
Yeah, they were ready. That was well done. You exhale, and I don't even know where to go. It's kind of like it's funny. I care about the remaining two series, but I kind of don't. I'm ready. Just let's go postseason. We know what this is.
Well, yeah, you've seen, because it was a super regional. You didn't have a midweek game. This is the full staff, the full availability, and Chase is healthy, so you get to see him in the bottom of the order kicking ass. He's nearly opposite 1,000 now through 15, 16 games. You know what you're capable of now. That was the test. But still, if you want that top 8 national seed, you've got 4 games against opponents that are ranked between 110 and 115 in the RPI. So you can't blow it this week. That would be a problem. And then North Carolina is holding with their top 10 ranking. So you just finish the job here and you will be a top 8 national seed.
I was mentioning it earlier. This has been going on for as long as I've covered this program, and that is the disparate rankings throughout college baseball. So you have, a USA Today coaches poll. Hey, now. You have the Baseball Writers Association.
The coaches poll.
There it is. You have Perfect Game. You have D1 Baseball. You have Baseball America. You have all these different outlets that rank baseball teams.
The coaches poll.
It's and over the years, it's always been this way. Like, I can remember years where somebody was ranked number 1. I'm not even specifically talking about us. Where somebody was ranked number 1 in one poll and 23rd in another. I'm like, what are we watching the same teams? What are we doing here? Can you imagine that in college football, where if you're looking at a team that's ranked number 2 and then some other polls got them just breaking inside the top 25? Like, what are we doing? I mean, with this much baseball played, it's not like it's a small sample size where you would have the ability to maybe disagree, because it's largely projecting if we're 10 games into the year. But that's not this. Anyhow, Florida State's number 2 in D1 baseball. They're 13th or something like that, or 9 or whatever it is in Perfect Game. And then we're 20-something.
What?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You didn't see this?
No, I just look at the RPI this time of year.
I mainly look at the RPI. But somebody emailed me about this. We're talking about I've made this comment many times, and somebody asked me about that, and I said, look, you can go back through the years. This has been going on for a long time. Somebody once informed me what it was, that there was some sort of problem between us and like Baseball America. I don't remember.
I think it was Baseball America.
Was it Baseball America? Yeah. And so we were like going into the weekend, I think we were something just barely inside the top 20 for them. And now we're in the top 10. It's like, oh, you saw enough, did you? Okay. Anyhow, so we're 2, we're 7, we're 6, it doesn't matter. You're going to want to look at RPI. I think for Florida State right now, were in the top 6.
That's correct.
Of RPI. I didn't look at. Did you look at Boyd's World today?
Yeah, Boyd's World agrees. Now his ISR has us around 15, but the RPI, Warren Nolan, Boyd's World pseudo RPI, NCAA RPI, the real one, they all agree that Florida State is number 6.
Yeah,
and that's why again, just you don't have a ton of games left. You missed that series with Virginia, who's no great shakes this year anyway. But I think it's 111 and 114 for Jacksonville and Cal in the RPI. So I mean, this needs to be a 3 out of 4 week, and you're right on pace because North Carolina
in good shape there. Yeah.
Carolina's at number 9.
All right, so we brought in some players, and we've been talking about Florida State and what it represents. By bringing in these players, Tom and I had a long conversation last week about what does it make you feel when you see that we bring in, another running back, another wide receiver? Sawchuk I like. I saw him, so did you. We've all seen him play. He had stretches of play where he was very, very good at Oklahoma. Unfortunately, he's been banged up some. But when he's healthy and when they play him, he's producing. He's produced. He's had some big moments for them. He had a stretch of like a 4 or 5 game stretch where he had 100 yards in every game. Oklahoma tends to recruit running backs exceptionally well. That's a position that if you're an Oklahoma fan listening to this, you're usually pretty stacked. For those of you that are newer to the program, OU's my other squad that I like to pay attention to. It's a distant second, but I like Oklahoma. I had family graduate from OU and family farms in Oklahoma and all that stuff. So I pay attention to Oklahoma. They traditionally, again, have a lot of stud running backs. So the fact that he was productive there, now they've also had a much better offensive line than Florida State. Oklahoma, year in and year out, has a much better offensive line than Florida State does. Their offensive success last year was virtually none. They lost their top 4 receivers, 5 of their top 6 receivers in one season. That is kind of hard to do, even if you're trying. And at that point, they were rendered pretty impotent. Team stacked against the run. They knew they couldn't throw, and that was the end of it, except for when they kicked the hell out of Alabama.
That's right. Yeah, that was a blowout.
Yeah. Go figure. It gives you hope for the first game.
Give me that week. Give me that Kalen special.
Yeah, give me that one, right? But anyhow, so I like the Sawchuk pickup because we're not exactly deep at running back, not with any real production. Obviously, we're all excited about when Cromagh gets here. I'm excited too, but I don't know how much I want to rely on a true freshman. So, okay, you get an experienced guy that if he's healthy has produced in big-time college football.
Yeah, this is interesting to me because Gus doesn't like to rotate. So it feels like you're bringing in your starter for the Alabama game. Now, Cromagh may take that over time. Looking at Gus, the splits between those that get carries, the quarterback is his own thing. But then when you just look at the running backs, ideally he likes to have one dude. He can have 2 guys that he rotates. Early at UCF, he did that. But the last couple of years, he had a bell cow and he used them. So what this tells me is that he looked at that room.
Didn't like it.
And he didn't like it. He doesn't have a bell cow. And he's trying and thinking that maybe if we bring in this kid, he can be the one. Unless Cromagh comes in and is truly, truly special out the gate. But I would think that at least with this commitment and signing, Sawchuk gets at least 50% of the carries in the Alabama game. At least. I think you could project that today.
So that's fascinating because I thought the same thing when I saw that they were even attempting to try to bring him in. And he's not the first running back that they've tried to bring in. Now, we've swung and missed on way too many kids and lost out to Miami and some other people in all this portal cycle. But anyhow, they clearly wanted to get somebody who had experience, that had produced, that falls under the same umbrella as the main portal players that they brought in at the end of the regular season, and that is guys that have done it in big-time college football, have produced. We've seen them start. We've seen them play a bunch. They've been productive. All right, fine. I got why you would maybe want to do that. That running back room is massive. I'm really surprised. Now, you don't need to count their scholarships, if you will, because we're living in a day and age that is bizarre, and who knows? People may have 120 kids on scholarship before this is all said and done. But I'm really surprised. There was agency. They took the time to basically sit down with their unproductive receivers save for one they kicked off the team because he got arrested, and now he's going to sign with Arkansas, it looks like. But outside of the Jaylen Brown one, they basically told these other guys to leave. It's not happening for you. We don't really see a spot for you. Take it on down the road. And why wouldn't you have done that with two of these running backs? I mean, how much running back depth do you need? I want 3 or 4. I don't need 7. I don't need that many running backs, but all right.
I agree. I find that interesting. That might just be that they're projecting that attrition might be coming during the season, and they want to have as many options, at least right now, until they build it out the way they want to build it out. But there's a lot of dudes in that room. So they could have had the exact same conversation if they wanted to, but clearly they decided that they wanted to hold off.
They tried to go out and get Shamar Brown. Remember, that was the kid from, I believe, North Dakota State, and they wanted him, and I think Miami got him. And then now here's where we sit with the Sawchuk, Gavin Sawchuk. I cared more about that signing and the talk around that more than I do the other Gavin. I don't have any idea why they're bringing that young man. I have nothing against him. I don't know anything about him other than he hasn't done much in his college career. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, all right, so you're going to bring in, is it Blackwell? Is that his last name?
Correct.
So you're going to bring in Gavin Blackwell from North Carolina, who's largely been unproductive. I don't know why you would do that. I mean, I don't have any idea why you would do that. I tried to rack my brain on this one, Tom, and I know it's not calculus, but why? What's the math here?
They're telling you that they don't believe that the younger kids are ready. I think they like Boggs. I think they do.
They do like Boggs, but what have you seen from Blackwell in his time in college that says he's ready? Let's bring him in.
It's a toughie because he's got 1 year of eligibility left. So you're bringing him into play. You're not bringing him in as a multi-year project because you like that he can run a 4.42. That's a questionable one, especially if I'm McCoy or BJ Gibson or Elijah Moore. I probably look at that and go, what? Really? But look, man, they're the vote that counts. The coaching staff is the vote that counts. And whether it's Tim Harris, whether it's Gus or Mike or a combination of the three, they don't think they have enough there. So here this kid is.
Yeah, I mean, he was a track guy. He was a player that at a high school was kind of considered a burner. He's a little guy. He's 5'11", 180.
Oh, legit blue chip out of high school.
Yeah. Out of high school, and that's because of the speed. That was because of the speed. But he hasn't done anything in college, and so I just okay.
Right. Yeah, the idea of a burner, I mean,
you got one that just posted the 4th or 6th fastest time in the country over the weekend in a track meet. I mean, I'm kind of confused.
He'll be a gadget for you in that regard at the very, very least. And then Jalen Lucas is a burner, and you can line him up on the edge, or you can get him in those weird spots to isolate and dominate. If Squirrel is healthy, then he's not exactly slow either, and Deuce can run, especially for that size. He can run.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
I know it's not the same as a scat guy or like, a true over-the-top burner in the ilk of a Tyreek Hill or a Deshaun Jackson. But, yeah, it seems like they already have enough in that regard in terms of speed. But they wanted another body. The Jaylen Brown thing must have really pissed them off.
Yeah, I guess so. I will say, again, I'm not knocking them for this. I'm of the mindset that if it's not eating into your budget to bring in a better player, then bring in 100 new players. You went 2-10 last year. Replace everybody if you have to. I get it. You're fighting for your job. I mean, he is. Mike Norvell is fighting for his job. I would rather have backups upon backups upon backups if I need to. So I'm not faulting them for it. I'm just trying to look at the rationale of bringing a kid in who's been largely unproductive in a room that's pretty, I don't mean stacked as in talent. I just mean the numbers are there.
Yeah, here's the one thing. I asked around a little bit today, and I heard that they're likely done. Like, this is it. So if you think about it that way, well, I mean, the portal there's no window for agreeing to something. You can still go mine for kids to join your program. But if you think about it that way, and that they realize that, okay, well, we can't find ourselves another D tackle. There is no edge on the board that fits us. Linebacker market would have been too pricey for the kid out of Rutgers who has the injury history. So we've got a little bit of money lying around. Maybe we go BPA and just try to shore up a room. Like, if you think about it that way, as though it was the NFL draft and here's your 6th or 7th round pick, and you're going to spend it on a kid that's a long shot. Look, good player out of high school. If we can get him healthy, this actually could be a low-cost home run for us. If you think about it that way, and that there is no money that they need to save for anybody else, and they're done, then it does make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't blame them. If you want to just stockpile some depth and take a chance that you hit a home run on a kid who's never been healthy, who's struggled to stay healthy, that's a better way of saying it. He's had moments where he's been healthy, but he's struggled to stay healthy. And you say, look, the upside's great. I mean, because Lord knows you did it at running back. Trey Benson was the guy that nobody wanted to touch with his medical history. A lot of people thought his football was over at the time that Florida State brought him in. But he rehabbed the hell out of it. He came in here and was locked in and focused and became your bell cow. And obviously made himself a lot of money in the process and won you some games. So they've taken chances before on guys with medical history. And, you know, if those guys end up hitting, you end up with an elite player that, you know, most people wouldn't touch because of the injury history.
You know, another casualty of the snub is that the game before the ACC championship, that jump cut in the second half, the fourth quarter by Trey Benson is as amazing and worth remembering as a lot of amazing runs by Florida State running backs. But because 8 days later, the world fell apart, we don't think about that as much. Man, what a nice send-off that was for Trey. That was an unbelievable move.
And I always liked Trey a bunch. You know, he didn't have, at times, the requisite patience. He also, at times, had too much patience when he was trying to learn it. And he wasn't a perfect back by any stretch. But, man, was he strong and fast. And, man, did he make plays and cared. I just love the way that he played. He played hard. He played tough. You know, that we saw it day one of practice when they went to pads. I remember being out there going, ooh, they got him one here. That kid's a stud. What's his story? And I think I was talking to you, and you're like, knee. Everybody was worried about his knee. I'm like, well, his knee looks fine because he's flying at 220 pounds.
You could hear him piercing the wind.
Oof. They haven't had anybody like that recently. No practices where you go, well, listen to that.
Well, hang on. Maybe not at 205 or 210 pounds, but Mekhi Danzy can absolutely
No,
fly.
I'm talking about running back, specifically a running back where you go, okay, they don't have that. No, Mekhi Danzy can fly, and they better find a way to unlock that because, my God, you've got one of the fastest guys in the country. Quite literally, he's one of the fastest people in the country.
Yeah. I remember watching the All-22 after the Clemson game, and we didn't use this clip. But Dominic's watching it, and I go, watch 19 here. Watch Danzy, this guy. And he goes, oh, no. Like, that's somebody whose day job is to work with exceptional athletes.
Yeah, and he's looking at that speed. Yeah.
He goes, oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that in our life.
That's dumb fast. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Governor Ron DeSantis directed all United States and states of Florida flags to be flown at half staff in honor of National Fallen Firefighters on Memorial Day. DeSantis said that flags will be flown at half staff to honor the fallen firefighters who made the ultimate sacrifices protecting their communities. A federal jury has convicted 70-year-old Lorenzo Hedries, a Jackson County man, on several counts of possession and distribution of methamphetamine. Authorities identified Hedries as a meth distributor in 2023 who was arrested in April of 2024 as part of a large drug sweep in the Mariana area.
Lows level off around 60 tonight. Mainly clear. Mainly clear skies tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 88. 87 Wednesday with a chance for showers. 86 Thursday. Chance for showers continues. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. currently 80.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. You two at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean, you know.
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You know what was funny yesterday? We didn't get a chance to do that, but to talk about it. And it doesn't matter because they won the game and they righted the ship and everything else. But there's a moment in that game yesterday where the look on Link's face and Micah's sitting right next to him and it's all happening. The collapse is happening. He's not staring daggers at him, but he might as well be. There is a, come on, man. Can one of your guys get anybody out? Sort of stare to Link Jarrett right there. Because it would be tough. You know, it's like he's got immense respect for Micah. Micah's had success in this game at a very high level. He was an assistant coach of the year in college baseball when he was at Dallas Baptist. He's had success, obviously. So Link, I think, trusts him, but there's a limit to what you can watch when somebody's in charge of an aspect of something in your company. It's not going well, even if you like that person, even if you believe in that person. You're like, I love you, but this is going to have to stop. I mean, that's the look on his face. I mean, like we're close to having a problem here.
You know, Micah, we worked a 10-0 lead. It's 11-7.
11-9.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Check that. It's 11-9.
Yeah.
Help me understand.
Yeah, it was that was a funny look. It reminds me of again, it was revealing to me when Micah told us that guys giving up hits on 0-2 pitches, Link will say, that was 0-2.
He brought that up after Friday when we gave up an 0-2.
Yeah.
In pass, he was like, yeah, but a couple of good at bats. They hit an 0-2. I was like, oh, man. And yesterday from the stool, you could see it from the stool.
Mm-hmm.
So Micah's walking out. They have the shot from center field, and Link is sitting in his high top stool, and he doesn't move a millimeter.
Mm-mm. He's
stoic.
He's really frustrated. Here's the thing. There's no pitching coach on the planet that would tell his pitcher up 0-2 to throw middle. It doesn't happen. Nobody is instructing to go middle. Well, maybe if you're up 10 in the 7th and, you know,
right.
It's a weak hitter or something. You're like, man, don't walk this guy. Let's go. Just throw strikes. I don't care. Let him put it in play. Maybe. But not in that situation, obviously. And you get guys, it happens too often here. It does. 0-2, 1-2, and they're like, well, that's bell tie.
Well,
and
if you're going to throw,
and that's hit to Texas because you left it dead center.
And if you're going to throw a breaking ball 5 out of 6 pitches, you're going to hang one eventually. You know, that's the other problem here. Sometimes they're fastballs, but it feels like there's a lot of cement mixers in there as well.
Yeah, frisbees where you're going, God, can't leave that there, my man. Good God.
It's 1-2.
Yeah, but like when we have a righty throwing into a lefty, just right into the barrelhead. But man, he's accidentally hitting that out of the park. He had no choice. You put it in a place where it has to leave. It has to leave.
Doubles are allowed, you know?
Oh, they are going to be, somebody said it in the chat at the start of the show. I think it was Melissa, but they're going to be a heart attack waiting to happen for us. This bullpen in the postseason, we are going to be sitting there watching this group because you're facing, by definition, good teams, very good teams that have had success throughout the course of a year. And obviously, the further you go along, the more it's whittled down to where you have nothing but good teams. And so mistakes get punished repeatedly. And that you can't predict these things because baseball is a fickle sport. But there's going to be a game where something similar happens. We're going to get up 7-1. It's going to be the 5th inning. Our starter's going to look like he's starting to get shaky. And everybody in Hauser's going to go, oh, I don't know, man. I don't want to do it. Just keep him in there.
Well, and the defense has done enough, too, in the last couple of weeks to keep you on edge. Be it a misplay in the outfield, falling down in the outfield, not fielding a simple throw to third base on Saturday night.
Oh,
what are you trying to do? Late hand stab it? What are we doing?
Perfect throw to third base. God. That's the throw from Lodi's to Fisher is what you're talking about. It's a perfect throw. They got it.
Cantarella's out of third, and the game's tied, and that sucks, but you're out of the inning. You're not losing. Yeah.
Correct.
So that's happened enough where you have every right to be on edge.
Yeah, we're gonna be some nervous Nellies this postseason. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Do you own a small business? Let me guess. You started your business so you could get bogged down with payroll and bookkeeping, office tasks, and other paperwork, right? Probably not. I'm Craig Collins with Collins Income Tax Solutions. Allow me to help you get out from behind your desk and get back to doing what you love. For any of your payroll, bookkeeping, or other business services, give me a call today and allow me to take it off your plate. You can find my contact information online at collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Hi, this is Sherry Farmer, co-host of the podcast Life's Third Act. Join me along with host Joe Cordell as we reveal the fascinating lessons learned behind the scenes of Celebrity Estate. Through the triumphs and pitfalls of celebrity and high-profile experiences, we'll explore the stories that shape lasting legacies and inspire smarter estate planning and wealth management. For the full experience, don't miss weekly episodes of Life's Third Act on YouTube. You'll find the audio version on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas.
The Atlanta Braves get 2 home runs from Austin Riley. They edge the Dodgers 4-3 yesterday. Today, it's A.J. Smith-Shawver on the hill for the Braves, another 48 favorite against Brady Singer of the Reds, 4-1, a 3.24 ERA. The Braves with another 48 favorite, 8.5 over the total at Truist Park. Rays of the day off. They host the Philadelphia Phillies tomorrow at Steinbrenner Field. Joey Logano wins an NASCAR Cup Series race at the Texas Motor Speedway. He is 12-1 to win the Cup Series title. Kyle Larson is the favorite at 3-1. Christopher Bell plus 450. Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, both 6-1. $250 bonus, and you open up a GBank Visa signature card. Visa.com/GBank. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
At Skechers, we put the S in comfort.
Wait. Skechers put the S in comfort?
Yes, comfort you have to feel to believe. Skechers, we put the S in comfort.
Let me try. Okay, I'm just stepping in and... Oh, wow. Skechers put the S in comfort.
Yeah, we told you. Find Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from,
We can be twinsies.
to,
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway. Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, get to get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller, Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. It's MillerSeptic.com.
On the front.
More ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Perhaps a tasty margarita is in your future and mine. I'm pulling up those $5 Presidentes. If we were still rolling over to whatchamacallit, Cancun's, wasn't that the name of it?
Mm-hmm.
Does that place still exist over there?
I
they
haven't
moved.
looked.
Didn't somebody get shot not long after we were there?
That's why I haven't looked.
Yeah. Well, they made some margaritas to beat the band, buddy.
Oh, it was one of the great events we've ever had, too, was the Nerds Watch Party of Stanford.
We needed Oregon and Stanford, yeah.
Yeah, and Stanford won.
Yep, we needed them, too.
That was a very hurtful high school show at 7 a.m. the next day at the ESPN studios. I was not happy about that.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Tough assignment. All in the name, though, of us getting into the first playoff.
Yeah, it mattered. It was a good time. Show contributor Chris was there.
Yep.
Obviously, Alicia was there. There was everything was. Those were good times. You should have made him do the high school thing.
In retrospect.
Oh man, I said at the start of the show, and we don't delve too much into hockey here, but it was all part of why I love just being a sports fan. Like at the core of what we do as a sports talk radio show, I know the central theme is Florida State athletics, but obviously it's the Jeff Cameron Show, and we've meandered across many a topic over the years, and that includes all other sports. But I don't know if you know the stat. You might now, because it happened in back-to-back games, but it's rare, and there's nothing better than a Game 7 in sports. And if you had a 2-goal lead in the third period of a Game 7, you pretty much, in the history of the sport, didn't lose. It's happened 12 times, I think the number is, with well over 200 Game 7s in NHL Stanley Cup playoff history. Basically, you're talking about two handfuls of times that somebody's blown a 2-goal lead in the third period of a Game 7, and then we had it happen. Dallas down 2 with 13 minutes to play at home. Then, and by the way, the guy, you know how bad it's got to hurt? The guy who scores?
Mikko Rantanen.
So Rantanen was, for those that don't know, with Colorado at the start of the year. And they traded him to Carolina. And he told Carolina, I'm not re-signing with you. I don't want to play here with these hillbillies. I'm not doing it. And they said, okay. And they traded him to Dallas. That's a toughie. That's my man scores 3 goals and has an assist to boot to knock out his former team. Woo!
Oh, buddy. And he was a badass with Colorado. It's not like he was struggling. It's not like he was up and down. He was consistently the Robin to their Batman superstar player. And here he is in green and black.
That's gotta hurt.
And I made the mistake. I made 2 mistakes. Number one, I was looking for some action just to watch the third period, make it interesting. It was 1-0 at the second intermission.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 30-1 odds to pick Dallas to win by 2. And I didn't place the bet. Just for pizza money. I was gonna put
just
10
to have
bucks
some
down.
fun with it.
Could
Yeah.
have been 300 bones richer on a Monday
You
if I
could have
had
been.
the gall just to hit the button.
Gotta always hit send.
That's right. Isn't that what Herm Edwards once said?
He said never.
Always hit sand. Whatever you're thinking. Anytime.
Yep.
But I made the mistake once it was 2-0 to just say, all right, that's all she wrote. I waited till the under 14 media timeout. I'm like, all right. And then last night I made the same mistake thinking, well, it's happened. That's not going to happen again.
So for those that don't know, Winnipeg is what he's talking about. And they scored 2 goals in the final 3 minutes, including one with 2.2 seconds to go to send it to overtime. We end up in double overtime. They finally complete the comeback, win the series in 7 games. Holy moly.
I know. Missed both of them, but it's just unbelievable. Those buildings were unbelievable.
That was something. That one was at home. That's so you pull
They both were.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, Dallas was at home.
Yeah, so you pull the goalie and there's a couple minutes to go, final 3 minutes, and you get the goal to pull within 1. And then you get possession of the puck and you pull the goalie again and you're just peppering the net. And I'm watching that, and I'm like, if they tie this, this is going to be insane. And then you get the redirect, and I mean, holy moly.
But here's the thing where I'm very, very glad that I didn't see the comeback, because then I would have had to watch the overtimes.
And you would have went to double overtime.
I would have been up so late. I mean, that's because once you're in, you're in. At least Dallas had the
I was in.
At least Dallas had the respect to just finish the game and be done with it in regulation. But the other one, you just have this false hope. So I'm sure for the better part of 2.5 hours, St. Louis fans, or well, whatever that is, an hour and a half, St. Louis fans are totally defeated, and they're just waiting for the string to play out.
Buddy, I can't imagine if you're Winnipeg, if they had gotten ousted early again. I mean, you might be talking about a franchise that needs to relocate.
Again.
I mean, good God. Yeah.
It's already happened once.
Yeah. I mean, that was a toughie. Enjoyed it. It was much better than the NBA Game 7s, which I wanted to love, but the Clippers didn't show up. And then Golden State, Buddy Hield, of all people, is going to drop 33 points, and they just what was the point, Houston? You go into the Bay and you win, and you force a Game 7 to go back home, and you get housed because you can't hit a three, and they hit all of the threes.
I think you should count your blessings, sir, because this was a James Harden kind of weekend. His fingerprints are all over it, and you don't know how many more times you get to live that very familiar story.
You remember me going off on James Harden 10 years ago for being a bitch when it matters the most, and pointing it out over and over again. And now he's done it so often that it wouldn't be something to observe. Like people go, of course. I was like, he knows. Tom knows. I've been saying this forever.
That's right. This might be the last time.
Tissue paper.
This might be the last time you get to do it.
I had to warn my son. I felt so bad having to break this to Bryce. So my oldest loves the NBA, watches religiously, can tell you about every single team and every player for the most part. You name a player, just on any team, he'll tell you, oh, yeah, well, he's this, he's that. He's pretty close to accurate. It's impressive. But he loves the Clippers because that's where Terrence Mann was. Now, Terrence Mann's now in Atlanta, but Bryce's favorite FSU player in basketball of all time is Terrence Mann. Now, you can see how young he is, but he loves him some Terrence Mann. So when Mann got drafted by the Clippers, he was like, that's it. I'm a Clippers fan. Well, now he's screwed because he's a Clippers fan, and he can't not be a Clippers fan. And, well, you could. But anyhow, he is a Clippers fan.
Now he's following the rule that was imparted to you.
Yeah. And he's wearing his Clippers shirt. He has his Terrence Mann jersey. He was all set. And I said, I just hope you don't get that sorry-ass version of James Harden that has pretty much been his MO for every single Game 7 ever. And he's like, what are you talking about? I go, if he plays the way he's always played when it matters most, he's going to come up with a nothing burger tonight or today. And he was like, well, Dad. And I said, no, there's a chance he may not score. He's like, oh, come on. I'm like, he may not score. He sucks. He's a bum. He's like, Dad, we just watched him drop 40. I'm like, because it didn't matter. Now it matters. You're going to get no production from that bum. 7 points. 7. In a Game 7. Tom. It is seldom seen that somebody disappears to that extent who has that kind of ability to score. It is rarely seen that somebody is that bad that consistently. It's got to be it's a tough reality.
So in his career, somebody actually has the stats.
Oh, they're not good.
Available.
They're not good.
All right. Let me pull it up because I didn't memorize them. I just found it. Love the Google machine. He's played in 7 Game 7s in his career, including this weekend. And he averages 19 points, 5 boards, and 8 assists. You might say, well, that's not so bad. He averages shooting 35% from the field as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's volume scoring to get to 19 points.
Well, and if the bigger the game and the better the opponent, there's a real good chance he's not even doing that. No, it's Florida man in Alabama. Bryce said, how did you know? I said, I've been around, son. I've watched some NBA playoffs now.
He also averages 4 turnovers a Game 7.
He stinks when it matters.
His career plus minus is a minus 31 in Game 7s. He averages a minus 4.5.
Yeah, it's hard. You got to let your kids grow up. They got to learn hard lessons. You know, every time you see it, you go, And I've said this before about, like, he gets mad because, when you're young, you're not jaded yet. You haven't been hurt enough. You've not watched certain very predictable things play out. Tom and I did an entire bit on what announcers sound like when your team is choking away a lead.
Oh, yeah.
And the improbable is playing out before your eyes, where your Noles are the much better team, up big, and it's just starting to unravel, and the kinds of things that happen. And I told him, I said, I'm going to send you a clip of that bit so that you'll understand that we've been there. We've seen it. Every fan of every team that's ever watched them fall to pieces in the biggest moment can recognize the telltale signs that something odorous is afoot, that you're going to be going, oh no. And I'm going to calmly go, oh, it's happening. It's already begun. It has been set in motion. There's nothing you can do to undo this.
So his efficiency numbers in game sevens really lives on the first game 7 he was ever in, which was with Durant and Westbrook way back in 2011 when he was a part of the Thunder. Since then, it hasn't been a pretty picture. Just to give people an idea, I know plus minus isn't everything. In his last 2 game 7s, James Harden is a minus 59. He was a minus 30 against the Celtics when he played for Philly 2 years ago in a game 7. And then that was minus 30, game 7, Philly Celtics. And then this game, Clippers, Denver, minus 29. So minus 59. He hasn't shot better than 30% from the field since game 7 on May 28th, 2018.
Yeah, it'll hurt your soul.
The last 4 games in terms of field goal percentage, 26.7, 29.4, 27.3, and 25% respectively.
It's interesting. I was just thinking about the collapsing that we're talking about. At least Harden gets it out of the way. He's going to suck in the first 5 minutes. Like when you watch him in a game 7, there's no falling to pieces. He's in pieces as the ball is tipped. There's no, it's like he doesn't miss a shot and you're like, oh, that's the shot that had to go down. No, there's a turnover. Okay, that's an air ball. This guy's dropped 40 points 2 games ago and he just threw up an air ball for his first shot. You're like, oh, no, he's beginning the game. This is how it's going to go for him today. This is like what we're doing here. When we talk about the collapse, it's usually slow and painful. You're up big. You started well. Things have gone well. Then there's a weird lull. Then there's sort of a stretch where you're going, in your mind, you have played it out. You've said, I'm a little concerned here. We've seemed to take our foot off the gas, and if they score here right before the half, this could be a bit of a problem. Oh, and he gets behind Johnson. And you're like, oh, geez, here it comes. Here it comes.
After his first game 7 performance with Oklahoma City, from 3-point range, James Harden is 9 for 50 in his last 6 game 7s. He's 9 for 50.
Yeah. That's tough, man.
That's not going to get it done.
No, I told Bryce, I said, I may give you this one pass one time because you didn't know any better. You didn't know any better. So what are you going to do? And your guy, Terrence Mann, was on that team. But the problem you have growing up in Tallahassee, Florida, being a Clippers fan, is that, A, you're never going to see him. I've taken him to see him. We went down to Miami and saw him play the Heat. Great seats. That was cool. Terrence had a dunk in that game on an alley-oop. It was thunderous right in front of us. It was cool as hell. So he got to do that. That was cool. But I've taken him to a Hawks game too, and I'm telling him, I'm like, listen, why don't you jump on that Orlando train or Miami or Atlanta? Somebody reasonably close to here where you're growing up and you could go see games and kind of have an affinity for the region at least. You're somewhere close to it. You can relate to it. You're not going out to see the Clippers play anytime soon. So I may give him a pass. I'm trying to let him off the hook a little bit here.
Oh, boy. I don't know.
See,
you got to ask Opa about that one.
I will. But, I feel like he needs another shot. He was very young when Terrence Mann got drafted by the Clippers. What are you going to do?
How young were you when you chose the Pirates?
Oh, I was 6 or 7.
Well, there's nothing that can be done here, I don't think. Opa can give him the
Opa
key.
can give him the blessing. Yeah, I may have to do it, but I wish he would become, because I kind of have an affinity for Orlando. I kind of like not the city, but the team. When I was in college, I was forever watching Anthony Hardaway and Shaq and Horace Grant, Nick Anderson. I like that team.
Nick Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I like that. Dennis Scott was on that team. Scotty Skiles. I remember those Magic teams. You don't. You were too young, I think. But
No, I was just thinking about. I remember those teams. That was precisely. Whoops, I don't know why that popped up on the screen. That was precisely second grade, third, fourth grade. I mean,
those
that's
were fun
when
teams.
Yeah, I mean, most everybody in my school in Tampa had an Orlando Magic basketball. One of the small ones with the Penny Hardaway shirts and the Penny Hardaway jerseys.
Penny was the stud. Remember those commercials were the best.
Little Penny.
Little
Absolutely.
Penny was the best. That was hilarious.
Little Penny.
Little Penny. That was a great series of commercials. Yeah, I would. I'm. Listen, they've got a good young nucleus. They can't put the ball in the bucket as consistently as they need to, but they've got it largely built through the draft. They got a good.
I'm
young
sure they do.
nucleus. Yeah. You're like, Jeff, we're not doing that. We're not doing this.
I like that you have an affinity for them.
I do.
You liked Golden State before they were good, so maybe you're going 2 for 2 here.
Yeah, I liked the way they played, and then that came to be. So I'm hoping that's the case. That come on now, let's turn the corner, Orlando. That'd be fun. Take them over there to see the Magic play. We were in that arena not all that long ago. I can't remember why, but not to see a game. And why was I in Orlando?
Barry Manilow?
Oh, that's hilarious. Shannon Young has made the move over to the nation's largest mortgage company, Cross Country Mortgage. Better rates, better options, stronger support, and faster response. He's in 7 states to boot: Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolinas. Unwavering commitment to you, helping you find the best loan options. Get that home of your dream. It's Knowles helping Knowles, man. Loansforknowles.com. That's where you want to go. Loansforknowles.com.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Give your business a facelift with a modern, consistent, creative brand overhaul from Curiosity Marketing Group. These days, it's not enough for your business just to have a standard website or a Google listing to reach your customers. Your business needs to stand out with eye-popping branding, modern web development, and strong marketing. And it takes a team to pull it all together. Words and websites matter. At Curiosity, we make the most of yours. Find out more at curiositymg.com.
I used to fight almost on a daily basis working on my business website. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I could never get it to function the way I needed it to, and I was losing customers because of it. That's when I called Curiosity Marketing. They listened, they understood, we collaborated, and in the end, they delivered beyond my highest expectations. Now, I can barely keep up with the work. They say the future belongs to the curious, and now I'm excited about the future of my business.
Find out more at curiositymg.com.
Ain't nothing but a G-Pod, baby.
I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go.
Well, you like remixes, right?
Of course.
Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love, so go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby.
See? Remix!
Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Florida State football talk indirectly. I will tell you, Tom, that I think I already know the answer, but it's not a rhetorical question. So you saw today that Michigan's Sharon Moore is expected to be banned for 2 games. That is for the upcoming 2025 season as part of a self-imposed sanction by the university for the Connor Stallion advanced scouting scandal that Michigan went through. The suspensions will be for Michigan's Week 3 and Week 4 games against Central Michigan and Nebraska. He'll be barred from any team-related duties during those weeks, will receive additional recruiting-related penalties. The NCAA can still punish more in addition to the self-imposed school penalties. A final resolution is expected before the start of the season. They begin the year, by the way, Michigan does, by opening the season with New Mexico, and then they hit the road, and this is an all-time uniform game, Michigan, Oklahoma. Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay.
How about that? You could just picture it. That's gorgeous. Michigan, Oklahoma, just all-time uniform game right there. Well done. Anyhow, so they're playing. He was the offensive coordinator in 23 when Stallions, a former Michigan staffer, was accused of operating an advanced scouting operation by having friends and family attend games around the country and videotape the sideline play signals of future Wolverines opponents. Stallions was alleged to have used that tape to decipher their play calling signals. We know the details of all of this, and we know that they're guilty of it. And we know that Harbaugh knew of it and didn't care. And we know now that certainly Michigan's Sharon Moore, the head coach, knew of it too. And that's why the university is suspending him. They're telling you that they're aware that this went above and beyond the normal efforts to steal signs. And you recall that you and I talked about this, that every school, every team is trying to steal, just as they are in baseball, the other team's signals. But there is an accepted methodology, just as there is in Major League Baseball. Hey, if you're making it that obvious, or I can steal a sign from second and relay it to my guys, that's part of it. Now, you might throw at me if you catch me. You might throw at me. You'll regulate it between the lines.
It's the Pirates code.
Right. Yes. So it's kind of understood. And we all realize that. But they went above and beyond. And they won the national championship. So if I asked you today, Mike Norvell, has a similar operation underway. He's finding all the signals for everybody that we're playing. And he's going to get caught. But we're going to win and win big. You'd say, go for it. You would.
Oh, absolutely. And
Michigan's not giving that title back, buddy.
No, and I don't know that I would have said that 5 or 10 years ago, but after what Kansas was able to do, after what Michigan was able to do.
Oh, you're talking about in basketball
Yes.
in Kansas, yeah, with the FBI stuff.
What North Carolina has been able to do as an athletics program,
Right.
the hell with it. I mean, that would be the energy I would bring. It's just the hell with it.
Yeah, in August of 24, they got a notice of allegations. There were 11 violations, 6 of which were deemed level 1, the most serious. The school and the NCAA are working towards, quote-unquote, a resolution. I bet that resolution doesn't see them stripped of a national title.
No, and also think about the playoff conversation from a couple of years ago. There is no conversation whatsoever about the integrity of the game, the integrity of Michigan's case being made, and the punishments that maybe should be levied against them.
Meanwhile,
you have a quarterback snap a leg and they go undefeated with their third stringer, and you're like, oh, well,
yeah.
Texas was number 7 only that last week. We got to get them up to number 3. It's so
right.
The
This
hell
is
with
what
it.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
And none of those players are giving back the ring. The university's not going to not fly the banner. There's the whole to do, man. And I'm saying right now, if I told every FSU fan listening to this, Mike Norvell is going to effort to do the same thing. Now, this is obviously theoretical, but he's going to operate with advanced scouting in the same manner that Michigan did. And he's going to have family members, Connor Stallion style, filming game signals from the sidelines. And we're going to beat Bama. We're going to beat Miami. We're going to go into Clemson with a chance to stay
Is that
undefeated.
Papuchas in the stands?
Well, you would say, go for it. Everybody else be damned. You would. There are very few people that say, no, I don't do that.
I'd text you. Look, man, I'm not going to put this on social, but I'm pretty sure that's Odell Hagen behind the bench.
Ira Chappelle, Warchant.com joins us every Monday. He's doing so right now. Hello, Ira. How are you, baby?
I'm good, man. But you got to realize, though, guys, Jim Harbaugh is going to carry that cross for years.
Oh.
Every time he coaches a game in the NFL, they're bringing it up. It's how he cheated his way to a national title. It's every game, right?
Yeah, so, he probably restless, doesn't sleep much.
Yeah.
he has to reposition his national championship ring repeatedly as he's trying to get comfortable. And and then he's thinking about his bank account for the huge raise that he got when he went to the National Football League. Yeah, it really, you know what? There's no cure for that. That's just your conscience the rest of your life, right?
Exactly. I remember one time when I was young and naive, I got ripped off pretty blindly by a mechanic. And I said to a friend of mine, I said, well, maybe he won't sleep well at night knowing what he did to me. And the person's like, oh, no, he's going to sleep great.
He's going to sleep like a child sleeps in the bosom of his mother. Oh, buddy. Yeah. So do you think I'm right on that? That basically, if Florida State fans were all that we've been through these last couple of years, man, and after getting snubbed that same season, in favor of a team who went on to win the whole damn Invitational and who was cheating their ass off, they were really good. Not that they should have been excluded, but, I bet you Florida State fans would say, yeah, I'm in.
Well, it just stinks that, if you try to do it the right way, you feel like you're persecuted, or that you're behind the 8 ball. You think about, how over the last 15 years, 20 years, how many times did Nick Saban find a loophole? Then the NCAA would have to come behind him and try to figure out a way to clean it up or not, because they didn't want to go after Nick Saban, but they had to figure out a way to clean up this mess because everybody was going to start doing it. And that's his whole career, but that's how those teams operate, the teams that are serious about winning. And Florida State has always been certainly under, Mike Norvell and I think under Bobby Bowden. And for most of the time, Florida State's been a power. For the most part, I think it's tried to work with the NCAA and not just be a renegade program. And it feels like sometimes you get penalized if you do that.
They told on themselves. They should have never done it. I'm still pissed about it to this day. It got them nowhere. They got no, we don't need to do that again, but anyhow, First of all, before we get started on the football, congratulations to Alexa. That's awesome.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, no, it's cool. It's weird though. Like people will congratulate me, and I'm like, I did.
Yeah, she graduated from Florida State over the weekend. I didn't.
Exactly.
But
Appreciate
that's fantastic. Okay, so we talked about this last week, and then it came to fruition, and we talked about it on headlines. I talked about it here on the JCS. You guys might have talked about it on the Smash as well. What do we take from the fact that Florida State is just steady trying to grab more people, and in fact did grab a running back? I like the pickup at running back. I'm not sure about the need for the receiver, but okay. So Blackwell is in, Sawchuk is in. What say you about what's happened here in the portal post spring?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the running back move, and I've got other, I've talked to friends and FSU fans who don't think it's necessary, but I do. Listen, I just think they came out of that spring the way I think you and I and other people that watched that scrimmage kind of came out of that scrimmage feeling like there really weren't difference makers in that running back room, at least that we could see. So if Gavin Sawchuk can be that guy, and he looked like it when he played against FSU in the Cheez-It Bowl, and then he had a really nice a redshirt freshman season in 2022, or in 2023.
Yeah.
And then last year he dealt with some injuries, but if he can go back to being that guy, average 6 yards a carry, I think that would be exactly what FSU needs. He seemed like a tough, hard-nosed runner. I think he would fit really well in what Gus Malzahn wants to do. So I like that move a lot. I don't love the fact that you're in this position that you have to feel like you have to make this move in May, but I think it's a smart move to make. So the receiver's a little bit of a head scratcher. It feels kind of like, you just hope that they didn't invest a lot of money into it because, I don't know that he's better than 5 or 6 of the guys already in that room. Now, you did need some depth because you lost 3 guys, but, and it seems like they weren't in the mix for some of the difference maker type of wide receivers out there. But, if you're expecting him to be one of the top 3 or 4 guys based on what he's done in college so far, that seems like a huge stretch.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. Some people will get frustrated. They'll say, a lot of the guys they went after they didn't get, that Miami outbid them in some cases and South Carolina did in another. And I just maintain that you're not going to win. If everything's equal, you're not winning those battles. I mean, they went 2-10 last year. You're not winning those battles.
No, I agree with you. I think that unless you had a connection, and I think, the running back, Gavin Sawchuk's a good example where I think Florida State was a school he was particularly interested in because they recruited him really hard coming out of high school. And then, I think he was interested, but at the time, Florida State just didn't make sense for him. And you can't really fault him for signing with Oklahoma at the time. But for the most part, if it's players that there's no history, Florida State's going to be behind the 8 ball, and they can't really outbid. I mean, the schools you're talking about, it's obvious that they're putting a huge emphasis in NIL to win now, to win right away. Mario certainly has to do that. It didn't work last year on the big stage, but it certainly made them better, and they're going to keep pouring money into that program until Mario ends up getting fired. So, yeah, that's just the reality of where Florida State is. And now long term, theoretically, you get into one of those other conferences and you got more money to work with and there's revenue sharing and you're not coming off a 2-10, the future could be brighter. We could be having different discussions. But yeah, for right now, I think you're talking about the reality of the situation.
How important was it for Florida State to win that game yesterday in the manner that they did after blowing a 10-0 lead? Because I maintain that had they lost it, you may have seen this thing spiral. That would have been that devastating in my eyes.
Yeah, it's a good point. Because on the one hand, I don't know that it makes a whole lot of difference in the long term in terms of like, that's going to change your fortune and you're going to have all this confidence in the bullpen now. But the opposite might be true, that those scars are pretty deep and that would have been awful. I mean, listen, man, when it got to 11-9, I was texting with Corey and Aslan, and I mean, I was worried they might get run ruled the other way. So for them to find it, yeah, it was awesome. And yeah, I don't know that it cures all their ills, but it certainly gives them a little confidence. And listen, man, that's one of the things that, happens to teams. And I see it with the team I follow in Major League Baseball, and you probably do as well. Sometimes when you have some bad things happen, every time something bad happens, the players start thinking, oh, no, what's going to happen now? And, maybe we just can't get over this hump. For them, I think it might be a real positive thing, just emotionally, the next time a lead starts slipping away, that, hey, we can fight back. And, maybe the pitching's not what we want it to be, but we can take it on ourselves to help at the plate.
Tonight, the Smash, I do believe, you and Tommy, right?
I believe so, yeah. Hopefully we'll make headlines again.
Yeah, I hope so. Are you about to go off on an aspect of Florida State's program that is eating at you?
I'm going to go back. I think I'm going to go back to my normal role and
get you some
handle that.
Get you some Don Julio in you, Ira. There you go. See you later, brother. Be good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. That's Ira Chaffel, Warchant.com. Yeah, my baseball team doesn't even make me mad anymore. They got swept over the weekend by the Padres, and I am watching a team spiral to probably a 100-loss season. It's over.
Okay.
No, the rebuild, everything that Nutting and the GM, and they were all trying to sell us, it's over. It's over. They failed. And the hard part now is just like playing out the string, watching this. It's brutal. There was something like 9,000 people there the other night on a Friday.
Ooh.
And that ballpark. I mean, that ballpark is perfect.
And it's good weather, too, right?
Yeah. And they went, no, thanks, buddy. Not going.
That bodes well for the secondary market next month.
Well, here's what I'd say. If Robert Nutting's not going to do what he needs to do, so. I told you that time that
old Bobby Nuts.
Bobby Nuts. I could say some things. We're not going to do that. It's painful to watch, and you're just sitting there going, "Yeah, man, you guys whiffed." Now Skeens is under contract for 3 more years, so that ain't going. Nothing's changing there. But yeah, it's brutal. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Florida Highway Patrol responded to a single vehicle. Is no threat to the public. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine expected this afternoon with highs around 85. Westerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows level off around 60 tonight, mainly clear. Mainly clear skies tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 88. 87 Wednesday with a chance for showers. 86 Thursday, chance for showers continues. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 82.
Roofing and construction services. T-Bar Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those dark leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises. Roofing and construction services. T-Spark. T-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So, like, different, breeds, like different kinds
there's
of...
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yep,
and then
Yeti.
Here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And, I've
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
But I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yeah, for Florida State to compete for the ACC championship, I see it being talked about in there. I just jumped into the chat for a second to see where everybody was. Look, what we predict? We predicted that best case scenario. I think we did a best case. No, we're not saying for sure, but like best case scenario is 8-4.
That would be a good result.
Yeah. Oh, buddy,
with what they have to work with.
Yeah, I think 8-4 would be a real good result. I think 8-4 is, your schedule's right there. Alabama, you're double-digit underdog in that game. You'll beat East Texas A&M and Kent State. I would like to think you could go on the road and beat a bad Virginia team. That'd be cool. Then you host Miami. You host Pitt. You're on the road against Stanford. Hosting Wake. Roadie against Clemson is going to be a toughie. Hosting Virginia Tech. On the road on a Friday night again because you're a freaking high school league. And that's against NC State. But it's not fair weekend, I don't think. I don't think it's fair weekend.
We looked that up, and it's not.
It's not fair weekend, right? And then you're on the road against Florida at the end of the year. Yeah, I think we said 8-4 seemed like the best case scenario.
So that would slot you at 6-2 in the ACC. So all you got to do is turn one of those results around to the good side, be it over Miami or Clemson, and you're right there.
Yeah, it's going to have to be over Miami at home here. I think.
Well, okay, that you could frame the discussion a little bit differently then. Assuming you handle business on a Friday night in the high school league against Virginia on the road, and then you beat Miami and you're 2-0 in the conference, at that point, you will start to get nervous about, could we make it to Charlotte? Because you could still suffer a setback to Clemson and maybe get the rematch with them.
That'd be cool. I'd be pleased. Clemson's wide receivers are very good. Should be interesting to see how that game plays out. We're way out. James B's telling us, I keep saying it, we will know after Bama. I don't know, James B. Like, I think you could lose kind of soundly to Alabama, and that may not portend of the kind of year you're going to have because you get two make-good games immediately following. And then your first ACC contest is against a Virginia team that did not have much last year, and I don't think Virginia's about to turn it around. So you really could win, those next three games, and the Alabama game would just be sort of a, well, you're not as good as Alabama. All right, well, we kind of knew that. It doesn't play out this way always, but there's a reason Bama's a double-digit favorite.
It's interesting. It isn't quite the same thing as playing LSU when Brian Kelly was a first-year head coach, but it doesn't feel that far off. Of course, they've recruited well, and they've got a stockpile of talent. But it's a new quarterback. He is getting his offensive coordinator.
He got his offensive coordinator back.
That's huge. I get it.
He had him at Washington, and they'll hit the ground running. It's not like he doesn't know what he's going to do.
Well, but it's not like Jaden Daniels and LSU didn't have good offensive seasons either. It's just it's not quite first-year head coach deal, but it's kind of close-ish to it. Alabama has a lot of new quarterback, new offensive coordinator. I mean, that's a lot of question marks for them offensively. And then we're a total rebuild in everything but the head coach. So it's just a very tough to handicap matchup. Of course, Alabama should be favored. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying within the index, if you're a sharp in the industry or you're somebody who sets the lines, that's not the easiest one to do on a week one. There's a lot of variables at play.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I think Alabama is going to come in and win that game. And I think that I want to see how well we compete. I want to see where we are athletically because they are going to be bigger, stronger, faster. Alabama is. And I want to see where we are on that scale. How close? You lose a game like that, say 31-20. And it's competitive. In the balance of the game, it's competitive. You're like, late third quarter, you're down 10, whatever. You're right there. Okay. All right, I'll live with that. After going 2-10 and not being competitive against anybody that's any good, and, losing what's 51-3 to Notre Dame or whatever the hell it was.
I forget.
It was
on purpose.
It was awful. It was awful. So, I'll tell you that I would take that. I would take it. I'd say, all right, look, they were so far away last year from being remotely competitive with, say, the top 15, 20 teams in the country. I'm not going to be disgusted if we walk out of Doak Campbell Stadium on the other end, like I said, of a reasonably competitive game that you lose. I will not let that affect the way I think the season plays out. I'll live with it. It could be 34-20, and I'd be like, all right, Alabama covered, better team. We're not ready. It's okay. Got 2 very winnable games coming up. Hopefully we didn't get hit by the injury bug. Now let's start concentrating on Virginia.
The discussion of we're not ready, I think that would be a wonderful compliment as we sit here today, that it would be foolish not to take. Like if you walk out of that game saying we're not ready, that implies that you have something to be ready for, that you have the capability to be ready for something, that you have a pulse. And I think that's the thing that we're looking for here is a physical pulse. All of those skills that come with it, the speed, the agility, the physicality, you want the pulse there, but then you also have to have the heart. And there should be no excuse, none whatsoever, for us not to play with incredible intensity and attention to detail. But it took Mike 10 practices to get what he wanted out of them in that regard in the spring. So you do want to see that if they get punched in the mouth, that there isn't a shutdown factor. Again, I don't expect there to be. New coordinators can help that along very quickly.
I would think, yes.
But I think we're all checking. It's a chin check for everybody. Fan base to players, coaches to players, fan base to coaches, like all of that. We're hyper focusing on this one. It's not the same thing as, oh my God, we get to go play Alabama in Atlanta 8 years ago.
Right.
Which that was, have we arrived? Are we there? This is, oh God. Have we at least started to walk before we can run? Because I'd like to see the evidence of it.
It's fascinating to me. I think that most Florida State fans, even if they're on different sides of the debate about Mike Norvell, would agree about what this season is. This is a referendum season. There's no getting around that. You can say and scream it from the mountaintops. I love Mike Norvell. Great. Good for you. You could be on the other side of it. You could be irrationally angry in a way that does not include his successes, but only his failures. And so you might say, I hate him. There's nothing he can do. Engineer a 2-10 season at a place like Florida State. He should have been fired on the spot. Okay. You're free to have that opinion as well. So you could take both those people who couldn't, be further apart, and they would both agree this is the year. He can't be out here half-stepping, pussyfooting about again. You can't suck. This is it. This is it. There has to be appreciable difference in the way that they play week in and week out. There has to be successes. There has to be real gains in recruiting off the field. We have to see the signs of a program that is healthy, moving in the right direction. It starts with, what do you do, wins and losses? But it's the whole kit and caboodle, man. Where are you at with recruiting? How do you play on Saturdays? Are you disciplined? Do you play hard? Are you getting the most out of the talent that you do have? Are kids being put in a position to succeed? Too often we're finding ourselves, no matter what, saying, well, I don't know why they don't do this. And this is frustrating here. And I'm not just talking about the normal conversations that every fan base has after a loss. Like, there have been glaring issues with effort at times, and that can never happen, but it just did. And when you come off a season like that, and that's one of your issues, it's the lowest bar by which to jump is whether or not you play hard and try. So there's nobody, not his biggest fan or his worst enemy, that wouldn't agree that this year is the referendum on the rest of his time at Florida State, whether it be this is the last year or you get a stay of execution.
Well, and as we sit here today, I think that there are some things, if you're looking for health of the program, that are acceptable. I think that the investment monetarily has been acceptable when you combine the fact that you had to overpay with the hashtag suck tax for the recruits that you flipped in the early signing period, and then to pay for the players that you brought in here in the winter window, in addition to the current transfer portal window. I think that has been a success. Given that 2-10 is your pitch, you've made your dollars go a long way to try and fix that. High school recruiting is related to the beginning of that because in the early signing period, that was a win. Now, that's money. You're throwing money at the problem to get these kids to flip, but you did it, and it worked. High school recruiting right now, however, is not healthy. Portal recruiting is healthy. High school, not so much. So that's what's up next. I think, at least as we sit here now, we feel like Mike's counter to last year has been pretty good and to empower somebody else to run the offense so he can focus on fixing and mending broken hearts and spirits within the roster. Like, that's a good thing. So I think there are some places where you would definitely point to and say the program is much healthier than it was last November. And then there are some to be determined. Aptitude of the roster, and then high school recruiting is the next thing as well, which this is supposed to be a big month for that. You're supposed to get kids on campus again this month and next. So we'll see what they do with it.
According to the On3 industry rankings, recruiting rankings for 2026 high school prep rankings, right? Southern Cal currently leads the country in recruiting based on the yeses they have, followed by LSU, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Alabama, Oregon, Clemson, Penn State, Miami, Tennessee, Texas, Auburn, Florida State.
Was that like 14, 16?
That is 14.
Oh, man, nice.
Now, you're just ahead of Ole Miss, Washington, and, shockingly, and we know this won't stay for long, Georgia. That won't last. Got to see this thing moving on up. Moving on up. That's another year outside that top 10 where he's permanently resides. And that's not going to get it done. Final hour, forthcoming. Bonus hour. Stay with.
I got some pretty spooky news from my Paul's termite and pest control technician the other day. It turns out that I'm sharing my home with Formosan termites. Those little monsters do damage about 4 times faster than the regular termites. Fortunately, Paul's discovered them on a routine general pest service, and they've already turned the Formosans back using an amazing treatment called Centricon.
Paul's was the first to introduce the Centricon termite colony elimination system to North Florida and is the leader in this non-invasive treatment. Instead of dumping gallons and gallons of harsh chemicals into our soil, Centricon uses environmentally sensitive treatments loaded in bait stations. These stations are placed around the home. Termites are present, they feed, and take it back to the colony, which is then destroyed. To learn more about Centricon and a free consultation, go to callpauls.com for the elimination of termite or any other pest.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Pauls. We'll get them all.
Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
Do you own a small business? Let me guess. You started your business so you could get bogged down with payroll and bookkeeping, office tasks, and other paperwork, right? Probably not. I'm Craig Collins with Collins Income Tax Solutions. Allow me to help you get out from behind your desk and get back to doing what you love. For any of your payroll, bookkeeping, or other business services, give me a call today and allow me to take it off your plate. You can find my contact information online at collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
The NASCAR Cup Series racing at the Texas Motor Speedway Sunday. It's the Worth 400 Chase Elliott, the defending champion. The Truck Series and the Xfinity Series will both be racing at Texas this weekend. Formula One in the United States is one of 3 races in the country. The Miami Grand
and jewelry for a perfect night out. Plus, you can save 15% on some of your finds and earn Kohl's cash. Find mom's perfect gift in time for Mother's Day at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles. Offer valid through May 11th. Kohl's cash and coupons do not apply to Sephora. Exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for more details.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
See, man, if you heard the sound, Pentalco Jewelry's the best in town. Rings, diamonds, earrings, bracelets, and more. Pentalco Jewelry, you'll be so.
When was the last time you randomly did something nice for someone that means a lot to you? Now, I say this every day at the end of my show for everybody to be a better person today than you were yesterday. Well, one way to do that is to drop into Pentalco and get a gift for someone who deserves it. It'll brighten their day, their week, maybe even their year. You don't have to wait for a holiday or special occasion, so don't wait to go check out a true local gem serving Tallahassee since 1988. Now, sing along with me, and I'll see you at Pentalco.
I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas. Pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up some fun when I want to.
It's springtime in Tallahassee, and there's nothing better than soaking it all up in your very own hot tub from Swain Pools and Spas. Swain Pools and Spas is the home for Caldera and free flow spas in North Florida, and Swain has the right pricing and tub size options to fit any yard and any budget with quick and easy financing options. Swain even has hot tubs that can plug right into your existing electrical outlets, so there's no additional installs needed. Visit SwainPools.com. That's SwainPools.com.
And right next to Swain Pools and Spas is Tallahassee Car Care. Stop in today for everything from an oil change and brake repair and tires to alignments and transmission. Big or small, we do it all. It's Tallahassee Car Care, the only repair shop where you can take a dip while we repair your whip. Tallahassee Car Care, right next to Swain Pools and Spas.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing
And listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Because you could say, well, it's Monday. I got to, try to keep it together during the week here on a Monday. It is Cinco de Mayo, but golly, somebody says to you, want a margarita? I don't know that I've ever said no.
That's correct. I don't know if I think your yes percentage is 100.
I think it's 100%. I do.
I don't think it's 99.8. I think it's 100.0. There is that place next to me that doesn't advertise that I really enjoy, and I have not gone back there in a little while. Today would be amateur hour to go there.
Yeah.
But it is reminding me that I think this week I'm going to get the call. I'm going to go.
For a margarita?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're delicious.
Maybe after a round of golf. You never know.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. I would also say, did you watch the Kentucky Derby?
No, sir. I heard it was raining.
Yeah, it was a mud fest. In my family, I start them out right. From a very young age, I had the kids pick 3 horses, and we bet on it. So I got kids into gambling early on. I really wanted to foster that addiction early. So my wife picks 3 horses. I pick 3 horses. We're not allowed to look up the odds. You got to, because everybody would just take the 3 best odds to win, and I'm like, nah, let's just pick it based on the names of the horses and have some fun with it. And here's what we bet. We bet scoops of ice cream. Isn't that just wholesome?
Scoops of ice cream?
Mm-hmm. If you place, you get a scoop. If you got 2 places, you get 2 scoops. Might get 3 if all 3. Trifecta.
That sounds wholesome, but, I think it's just a gateway into sin. So I'm not so sure.
So here's what I bring it up because I did watch the Kentucky Derby. And I don't know why. I will tell you something right now. The pregame show for the Kentucky Derby is entirely too long.
It does go.
What are we doing out here for 8 hours talking about this race coming up at 7 o'clock? What are we doing?
Other Randy Moss's day, man.
Man alive. It's nuts. So anyhow, they set their, I'm kind of curious as to why, but they set ratings and betting records over the weekend. They set another record for betting handle. The crowd was, by the way, 147,406 at Churchill Downs. That's a big-ass track. I went to Leopardstown in Ireland and just outside of city center there in Dublin and watched races the last couple of years. And anyhow, that track is huge, but it wouldn't hold anywhere close to the stands. Like, it doesn't have 146,000 people. God, no.
It feels like the grandstands might hold
100. Like, it didn't feel like it held many.
Yeah, 10,000, 15,000.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never walked in. We just did the show. I went to the stables, but I never walked into the track itself.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's stunning. The year before we did it, and we did me, Ira, and Aslan went in there and watched the races and got to sit up in a box and talk to the people. It was highfalutin, Tommy.
It's the only kind of falutin there is.
Yeah, but I think I do before I'm dead and buried. I'd like to go to the Kentucky Derby. There's a lot of nonsense that goes with the Kentucky Derby, but I'd kind of like to check it off the list.
Really?
I think so.
That is a surprising remark from you.
I've never cared, but I think I want to go now.
You want to go to the Look at Me Fest?
No, not for that reason. Like, there are normal people in the stands that aren't dressed like a-holes. There are normal people just enjoying the race.
Okay.
No, it's not for the get-up. It's not for the get-up, buddy. I just want to kind of go in the stands and see the race. And
you want to wear a plaid jacket is what you want to do.
I'm not saying that. No, I'm telling you, I want to.
With the elbow pads.
I want to see the race. I think I want to see the race. Viewership, by the way, peaked at 21.8 million viewers.
Really?
Massive.
That is stunning.
Massive television audience. Right as it started at just after 7 o'clock, 21.8 million. Sovereignty, who entered Saturday with the second best odds of winning at 5-1, narrowly defeated my horse. Of course, I took journalism. And journalism was 3-1. That audience, by the way, up 8% from the peak audience of 20.1 million in 2024. So they did better than just a year ago. So that, man, I mean, those numbers are massive. The bet numbers are pretty impressive too. The Kentucky Derby set another record for betting handle. Let's see, it was, by the way, the crowd last year when it wasn't raining was at 156,000. That's a big ass place.
Yes.
I mean, I've
Yes,
been
it
to,
is.
I've
Infield,
been
too. I mean, that's
impressive. 156,710 a year ago. I've been to Ohio State. I've been to Michigan. I've been to like the biggest stadiums, Neyland in Tennessee. 156,000. That's a monster. Anyhow, so folks who didn't go to the Kentucky Derby certainly were betting on it, though. Totaled. Got a guess on that one, buddy? I wouldn't know where to begin, so if you're way off, it's okay.
The handle
for the Kentucky Derby, wagering from all sources on the entire day of races.
So all sources meaning international handle?
It just says Churchill Downs announced that wagering from all sources. Okay. I have the total before me. What do you think it is?
262 million.
349 million.
Wow. I'm actually proud to be that close.
You should be. When the entire week of races are factored in, Tom, it sets another record. $473.9 million. Good God. A nation of betting addicts. My goodness gracious. That is a lot of money. $473.9 million.
Well, this is where the casuals get involved.
Oh, sure.
You know, this is over the years, family members of mine would ask to wager if I had a guy, which I did. Or because, you know, you can't have the Hard Rock. The Hard Rock doesn't do it. So what the hell are you supposed to do?
We had a guy and he's dead.
Well, I got a guy who used to do the thing.
I got another guy.
He's alive.
Yeah, he's alive and well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even my parents, they did something similar to what you did, which was this was one of the few color page inserts in the sports section in the St. Petersburg Times. Usually the color pages were only on the front page and the back page. And rarely you would get the insert to have full color, but for the Derby, they did. So you'd get in there and you get all the horses and the jockey colors, which was always cool. And then my dad would meticulously cut the strips out for each of the jockeys, fold them up, put them in a hat. And that's what we would do. We would draw them out of a hat, and then you get the actual number and the jockey information, the odds. And that was it was winner take all. But the reason I say all that and bring that story up is because we weren't a gambling household. I was not raised in a household like you were with gambling.
The devil's den.
And so if that's what my family's doing, then what are they doing now in the age of gambling? More and more people are throwing down on the Derby, and then they don't do much else for the rest of the year. So that makes total sense to me that the handle is huge for the Derby.
So I never knew how this got broken down in terms of the payout. Sovereignty wins the race, right? So they receive $3.1 million of the $5 million purse. 80% of it goes to the owner. 10% goes to the jockey. 10% goes to the trainer. So if you take the $5 million purse, $3.1 million, 80% of it going to the owner, then 10% to the jockey, 10%, you guys can figure out what everybody made. It pays to be a jockey if you're any good. Tell you what, if I was born 4 feet tall, buddy, I mean, not born 4 feet tall, but I maxed out at 4 feet tall, I'd be a jockey.
Your poor mother.
Last year, Churchill Downs raised the purse from $3 million to $5 million, the largest prize in the event's history. Biggest payout in horse racing's Triple Crown.
Well, that would make sense.
That would make sense. Last year, Mystic Dan took home $3.1 million in a tight race, very tight race. Yeah, man, that's A jockey got paid, and he was wearing some mud all over his face. I don't know how he could see. They did the close-up of him coming down the stretch, and I don't know how he can see through the goggles. It is just mud caked. The horses got hurt. That was good. It was all good. Anyhow, I want to go.
No flashbacks to your housewarming party.
No flashbacks to the housewarming party. But yeah, man, I want you and I. Let's go up there one year.
I refuse to go there until we've gone to Army Navy first.
That is absolutely
there's
fair.
no cutting in the line of the Derby.
That
for
is
Army
that
Navy.
is correct. That is fair. Yeah, I'm with you on that. If I were a trainer, man, I feel like that's a good gig. These horses are all so you got a rich ass owner. He's not buying bums. These were all descendants of Secretariat. Every horse in the Derby. So you got, a horse that's got a little something to him. And I don't know. I mean, don't all the trainers know the same information? Like, is one trainer doing something so special to get an edge on another trainer besides drugs? Like, what are they doing?
We call this the 3/4 pole whippity-doo. Remember this technique. Now, this is a technique that only Bob Baffert, knows.
I'm wondering, though, once you pay the steep price for those premium genetics that your horse has to have in order to compete at the highest level, like, what can you do as a trainer that's so, and again, I'm not educated on this. I'm not a horse racing guy. My dad knows a ton about horse racing. He can give you the history of horse racing. It's crazy. And he, used to go to those horse races down there in Hialeah all the time. But I don't know anything about it other than what I should know. The best horses of all time, those kinds of things. That's it. But I don't know what one trainer knows over another trainer. But you're right. Ask Bob Baffert, right? You're right, Spartanol. But he got busted. He did 3 years. He was suspended. It was his first Derby back.
Yeah. Cost of doing business. Clearly.
Yeah, well, he's made, I can't imagine the amount of money how many times has he been the owner of a horse that's won? Like 15? It's insane.
He's really the only name I know in horse racing, other than the other Randy Moss analyst. His name's Randy Moss.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, those are the numbers outside of, that was the other big event over the weekend. Obviously, we were locked in on FSU baseball and the hockey and the NBA and all the stuff that we were talking about being a sports fan. I did watch the Kentucky Derby. It was what it was. I feel like when the Derby ends, everybody goes, okay. It's a letdown.
No, hang on. I want to hear the interview. Leave the volume up.
Unless there's real drama, like you've got a bunch of horses jockeying and it's coming down the stretch. I do love it down the stretch they come, all of that. But when you see the overhead, when they show you the race again and they show it to you from above, the bird's eye view, that is cool because you do get to see how a jockey maneuvered a horse through certain, turns and when they decided to go for it. You kind of learn the hows and whys. There aren't too many sporting events that I am like going to watch annually that aren't the NFL, the NBA, college football, Major League Baseball, and the NHL. Like, I'm not watching a ton of other stuff. I watch Wimbledon, obviously. I used to love.
I watched the Tour de France.
No, watching the Tour de France to me is boring. I marvel at the obviously the endurance and the strength and the intestinal fortitude that it takes to race in the Tour de France. I think it's an amazing accomplishment.
I think you're like me then. You're glad that it's happening.
Yeah, it's a thing. I'm glad it's a thing.
Know that it's happening.
Listen,
but I don't need to watch it.
Right. Yeah, I don't.
1 second. I'm just glad to know that they're cycling over there. That's good, man. That's a good sign.
I like that you doubled down with the not 1 second.
No. I'm glad to know they're cycling through the Alps and all that stuff.
All
That's
right.
cool.
So did you watch the race down in Miami this weekend? The F1?
No.
So your boy over here actually tuned in a little bit.
You did? On TV too?
Yeah, you may end up, I may get involved. Here's my thing about that.
Gotta watch the docuseries. Awesome.
Well, here's what I'll say about, motorsports are not my thing. I've never cared about NASCAR. I don't care about IndyCar racing. I don't. I think it takes obviously a lot of courage and strength and ability and all that. I'm not denouncing their skill sets. But what I don't like about, and there's this whole craze now because of that Netflix show, and everybody wants to watch this stuff now. And I say everybody, but the sport is growing in this country. And my problem is that, okay, so every team has 2 drivers, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So
I'll give you the basics.
No,
Yeah, what
but here's what bothers me. Your base, the way I understand it, there's like 3 teams that have a chance to win.
That's correct.
So
In terms
competitive balance is a problem. That's why I don't watch women's basketball. There's like 5 good teams.
Well,
it's a problem.
It's about the journey to get from, the pits of existence to a midfield team, and then into position to be on the podium every once in a while. You're cultivating drivers, and most of these teams, if not all, I think they all do. They all have like a lower level team. Like, so Red Bull has a feeder team, and so
now Red Bull's gone all in. They're like the one with the most money now.
Well, the money is dependent upon your previous season's doings. So you don't get this independent money to work with. It's all based upon merit, that you get a certain amount of money that you can work on with your car. Like the car has to be, the merit allows for a certain amount of money to be awarded. So it's almost like the salary cap.
But why isn't there more competitive balance?
Because only the best work on certain teams. So
Ferrari.
Well, okay, so I'll put it this way: like Red Bull has a feeder team, and they've changed their name like a million times over the years. Mercedes has a feeder team that's Williams. Ferrari has a feeder team, so they'll have. It's almost like they cultivate their own minor leagues while concurrently trying to go for the big title. There's only so many great drivers in the world, so that's part of the equation. You can have a lot of drivers that might make a bit of a difference and might scare a podium every once in a while, but Verstappen is Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton at the time was Lewis Hamilton. But your budgets are determined by what you do in the previous year. And Mercedes, for example, was dominating for years and years and years, and they didn't change anything, but they made a bad car one year, and the next thing you know, it's Red Bull's time.
Well, what in the world? You just up and make a bad car?
It's all the margins are very, very slim.
Man,
Ferrari's been knocking at the door. They kind of wasted an opportunity a few years ago to chase down Red Bull. Now McLaren has made their run. So there is some jockeying back and forth. Mercedes was the gold standard until it was gone like that, and they fell off the face of the earth.
The problem with autosports, like watching them, I need to know that there's some balance to the competition. So there's like 9 guys that could maybe win this thing any given weekend, right? I sit down, I'm like, I'm going to watch this, and was it 21 teams or whatever? They all have 2 drivers, right? I think I kind of got that right.
It's 20, yeah,
Something
2
like that, right?
drivers,
yeah. And I just don't like going into something to watch it and know that 85% of the field has no chance.
Well, in some ways that's true, in some ways not. Depends on qualifying, which is a word I couldn't think of for the life of me. We were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Qualifying position. If you've got 2 McLarens, 2 Ferraris, and 2 Red Bulls in the top 6, scattered in whatever order, you got no shot. Sometimes people wreck in qualifying. Sometimes there's a flag that comes up in qualifying, so you can get to run your quickest lap. And so now the favorite has to start in 11th. All right, well, if you're out of points position, a good race for him is to get up to 4th or 3rd, not necessarily win it. Then the weather can cause all kinds of chaos. If there's a rain race at F1, you should put an alert on your phone. That's what you want to watch. That's total chaos. Somebody could wreck at any moment. Visibility's gone. You're going 200 miles an hour.
Forget it.
It's
man.
insanity.
Yeah, I know. I marvel at the courage. I wrecking at 200 and something miles per hour doesn't seem like you're going to come out the other side.
Or going side by side in turn 2 and you need to get position.
There were a lot of chances for people to pass yesterday in Miami, and that to me made it interesting. That there were a lot of chances for people to pass.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a damn thing about that sport, but it seems to me when you're doing it in a city like that, a situation like that, then you better have a lot of opportunities for guys to make moves. And that course had that, and it was enjoyable.
Well, that's why, and there's the huge straightaway on the one side where you're going by the Hard Rock, where people can get up to speed. Oh, then there's drafting, and there's all kinds of stuff that, like the decisions you make on what sequence to use, the tires that you have at your disposal, the hard, soft, mediums, or the wets that you put on. There's a whole lot that goes into it. The one race that's totally overrated and sucks and people always hold it on high as the Monaco race.
Just because the scenery is beautiful.
It is. The scenery is gorgeous, but the track is the real streets. It's super tight, and basically, as long as you don't screw up, if you finish first in qualifying, you win, because there is no room to make a pass.
Right. Well, that's garbage. You can't have all that.
Yeah. There are
St.
other
Pete
tracks
race.
that
Is the St. Pete race good?
I never went. That's Indy, I think, isn't it? I don't think that's
They're all
F1.
the same to
No, I know it's not F1, but yeah.
They're all the same to me.
F1 is superior to the Indy.
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
All right, let's talk. If your grill wobbles when you flip a burger or it needs a good kick just to light it, it's time for a serious upgrade. That's where Hearth and Patio in Tallahassee comes in. They've got gas grills, charcoal grills, smokers, even the fancy ones that make you look like you actually know what you're doing. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a full-blown backyard pitmaster, Hearth and Patio's team will help you find the perfect setup. They actually know grills, like they can tell you which one makes the ribs taste the best. And trust me, there's no better feeling than serving up a plate of those perfectly grilled, amazing ribs while your neighbor stares over the fence with pure jealousy. So stop flipping burgers on that rusted-out dinosaur and call Hearth and Patio today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Your steaks, your burgers, and honestly, your whole neighborhood will thank you. Hearth and Patio, where your grilling dreams come true.
Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying, or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
Porterman, you're walking crooked again. What happened to you?
Well, I was sitting at the boat ramp sipping on a margarita when my alligator Hank decided we needed to go water skiing.
Oh, no.
Next thing you know, Hank's strapped to 4 skis and I'm hanging on his back and the boat is pulling us out. It was all going great till Hank spotted a duck in the lily pads and wanted to jump the wake.
Porterman, you're crazy. No wonder you got hurt.
Yep, 1 second it's air, water, air, then bam, now I can't even bend over to put on my own water skis.
Well, Porterman, you better get over to Thin Chiropractic right now. You can book an appointment online and take advantage of the new patient special.
Special offer online? That's easier than wrestling an airboat off a sandbar.
That's right. Just go to thinchiro.com. FENNCHIRO.com. FENNCHIRO.com.
That's it. I'm headed over there boogity to get straightened out.
Hi, this is Sherry Farmer, co-host of the podcast Life's Third Act. Join me along with host Joe Cordell as we reveal the fascinating lessons learned behind the scenes of celebrity estates. Through the triumphs and pitfalls of celebrity and high-profile experiences, we'll explore the stories that shape lasting legacies and inspire smarter estate planning and wealth management. For the full experience, don't miss weekly episodes of Life's Third Act on YouTube. You'll find the audio version on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Well, Trina, now you're in charge of ordering food for the office, so meet my mountain of menus.
So this should be easy.
Easy as pie. You know the mathematical constant for a circle circumference to diameter ratio, pi? It's super complicated.
In that case, I'll be using EasyCater. It's got everything on one simple platform. Tons of restaurants, dietary preferences, even digital receipts.
But my mountain of menus.
How about I order us some pie? EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Should make mention and certainly doff the cap. The women win the ACC in softball. They do a lot of that.
And a no-hitter on Saturday as
I
well.
know. Pam Ward seemed disinterested.
Oh, because it was us.
Oh, she hates us? I mean, really? I mean, I don't know the answer to that.
No, I'm saying because that's a loaded one. Oftentimes when we faced Alabama specifically in previous years in Super Regional,
Did she go to
CWS,
where did Sam Ward go? Do
I don't know. Could be
Pam
Alabama.
Ward. No, I said Sam. Sorry, Pam Ward.
I really don't know where she went, but based upon the way that broadcast crew usually does a great job, it's a 3-person booth. But Pam would be much more interested in Bama home runs and Bama big plays, big strikeouts than us, and it was over a multi-game span, multi-year span. So even though we weren't playing Bama this weekend, it seems to kind of track.
She went to Maryland.
Okay.
I just looked it up. Or maybe she just has a thing for Alabama softball. I don't have any idea. Tom.
Now they all fall at the knees,
Oklahoma.
at the feet of Oklahoma, and that's, you understand why.
By the way, but Oklahoma, from what I can tell, appears to be very beatable. They're like routinely losing games. And that wasn't the case just a couple of years ago when you'd watch Oklahoma. They just beat everybody's ass. Not doing all that ass kicking this year. So could we win it all?
More conversions in the lake, I guess, is what's needed.
Could we win it all? Come on, let's go. Let's add to the titles. Anyhow, I saw we won the ACC. I'm not going to pretend that I watched that. I did not. I know Virginia Tech's pretty good. And we won 2 of 3 in that. And that included, as Tom mentioned, a no-hitter, which is
first ranked no-hitter in program history.
Is that right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
First no-hitter over a ranked team.
Opponent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
No-hitters happen more frequently in softball than they do baseball, and so I would have thought somewhere along the way it would have happened, and we were also really freaking good.
You can run rule somebody a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Because it counts, because we did run rule them, and it was 8-0 was the final.
What's the run rule there for softball?
Oh, God, I forget how many runs it is, but
it changes by –
I think it might be a sliding scale.
Yeah.
But it was through 6. So it was a 6-inning no-hitter against a top 20 team. I mean, that's legit, man.
Saw this and thought it was interesting. Since the NIL era began, college athletes nationwide have invested heavily in agents and marketers to help build their personal brands. Syracuse football head coach Fran Brown, who I rather enjoy, has become the first NCAA coach to sign with an NIL agency. Fran Brown is signed with an NIL agency network. Interesting. Obviously, this comes at a time when social media gives coaches a unique platform to capitalize on their own identity, and when they need every advantage possible to attract recruits in the era of unrestricted free agency, including beefing up their off-field personas. Some coaches may go this route, a PR group. Coaches without savvy brand building and PR assistance, UNC's Bill Belichick is one example, are floundering in the public eye in a way that could largely negatively impact their ability to entice players. Does Mike Norvell need to sign on with an NIL agency, Tom, to beef up this recruiting?
Anything. Try something. Anything.
Brown says, hey, I figure there's no better time to do it than right now. Network primarily works with high school and college athletes, including Florida quarterback DJ Lagway, but has decided to foray into the world of college coaching as well. When we started Network, we weren't pretending to nor considering to get into the coaching world, Chief Strategy Officer Doug Scott says the suggestion came from a renowned agent, David Falk. It really was the energy and essence of who Fran was to where we decided that, yes, this is somebody that we really want to be successful. We think there's a little bit of a void in the marketplace right now. I'm not kidding you, Mike. He's a good-looking guy, looks good in front of the camera. I would think is, he got to work out, clear, concise messaging. But I think he has he's got the what for to do it, right? Charisma is maybe the word I'm looking for. Fran has the charisma.
Yeah, I would say in a non-press conference setting, sure.
Correct.
Of course he does. I don't think he's got no skill on the recruiting front. I think us operationally are lagging behind. But when somebody gets in a room with Mike Norvell as they've made the visit, that tends to go pretty well because he's pretty real.
Well, he's pretty real. Yeah, I was going to say you're right to point to the overall operation. Brown has already begun building a recognizable brand at Syracuse, where he was hired at the end of 2023, delivered a 10-3 season in 2024, coined the acronym DART, which stands for Detailed, Accountable, Relentless, and Tough, to describe his coaching philosophy. With the help of Network, he unveiled a logo for the phrase during the Syracuse spring game. We'll be putting out an apparel line soon. Buddy, an apparel line for Florida State's head coach that we then turn into money for the NIL for players. Let's go. People would do it.
You can see that being an assembly line. I like the ingenuity here. You're going to have to differentiate yourself, even, if the cap is quasi what some people think it is. You're going to have to find a differentiator and a pathway to get real marketing deals. I like it.
So Brown hopes to become, he says, a thought leader in the college sports space. Over the last several months, he's been more vocal in the media about his opinions on changing issues in college sports like the transfer portal and NIL. He says he has several ideas for reforming college football's rules, including offering just the one transfer portal in December and mandating that players put between 40 and 60% of their NIL earnings in savings for when they leave. He also suggested the idea of completing school in 3 years. I think you should do 3 years at a school. In 3 years, you should be able to get your degree or be very close to it. In 3 years, you have an opportunity of going to the National Football League. He's trying to race guys out of there, buddy. 3 years.
Yeah, that is disingenuous, I think. 3 years? Come on, man. A lot of kids that play college football come from horrible high school districts that you need more than 3 years to turn around and get a legitimate college degree.
Mm-hmm.
That to me screams of majors that are processing factories and not about learning. So I don't appreciate that one.
Might be. But nonetheless, he is certainly opinionated and isn't afraid, likes the camera, is a good coach. They did win 10 games last year, and bless their hearts for beating Miami at the end of the year.
He's going to get a big job soon. This is all adding up to him being a hot name in this year's after somebody gets fired at a big time school. He's going to be on the short list.
Well, we do coach speak during the football season, and day one, Tom, one fun thing about that show is not only do you make fun of coaches, but you get to see who's what. And, Ben, the producer, does a good job of putting that stuff together, but he'll send us a lot of clips. And so I end up kind of farming through that and going through all these clips, and you will quickly identify somebody who maybe at a small school. I remember that coach at Utah State originally when we first started the show. I was like, I get it. This guy's winning for this reason. He is charismatic. He seems to have a genuineness about him that players will respond to. There were some things there that I liked.
You know it when you see it.
Fran Brown, right off the bat, the three of us, me, Ira, and Corey, all were like, ooh, this guy's kind of impressive. Like the first press conference he did, I was kind of like, he might win some games at Syracuse. We won 10 of them. They don't win a lot of games at Syracuse. That's doing some things.
Yeah, might be a little bit different than being in the locker room with Dino.
Dino, who the 1 year he had that success, wanted to make sure we knew about it, buddy.
Good Lord.
To this day, who'd you pick?
Right.
Well, good to see you. We're sitting down to
I'm
talk.
sure you didn't vote for me.
Yeah.
Nobody did.
Yeah.
Well, okay, then why are you asking me if nobody voted
You
for
already
me?
knew the answer, man.
Yeah.
I remember saying to him, well, you lost 8 games the year before. Why the hell would they have picked you to win 10? I mean, he just kind of looked at me. I mean, I finally got fed up with him.
Yeah. He did also speak on the timing of the FSU game on the schedule, and he knew they were going to get their asses handed to him.
Yeah.
That's a tough spot for us. Yeah, because you're playing Florida State, not because of when, my man.
Yeah, he's something. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Governor Ron DeSantis directed all United States and states of Florida flags to be flown at half-staff in honor of National Fallen Firefighters on Memorial Day. DeSantis said that flags will be flown at half-staff to honor the fallen firefighters who made the ultimate sacrifices protecting their communities. A federal jury has convicted 70-year-old Lorenzo Huetries, a Jackson County man, on several counts of possession and distribution of methamphetamine. Authorities identified Huetries as a meth distributor in 2023, who was arrested in April of 2024 as part of a large drug sweep in the Mariana Savannah area. Patriots will be sentenced on July 11th in a federal court in Tallahassee. Last Friday was supposed to mark the end of the 2025 Florida legislature. Both chambers inside the state house failed to agree on a fiscal budget that could be sent to Governor Ron DeSantis. Lawmakers will take this week off with hopes that a budget conference will begin the week of May 12th to finalize and pass a workable budget. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
Now, here's your Paul's Termite and Pest Control Tallahassee weather report.
Dry start to the weekend, then a more unsettled pattern as rain chances return midweek and stick around through the end of the week. High temperatures staying in the 80s. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 58. Tuesday, more sunshine, high of 88, low of 64. Clouds and rain chances return on Wednesday, mostly cloudy, 30% chance of rain, high of 86. Thursday, a 50% chance, high of 87. From Real Talk 93.3, this is Danielle Kelly.
For the elimination of termites, pests, and for a greener lawn too, call Paul's. They'll get them all.
Mark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Mark, T-Mark-Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those dark leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Mark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Mark, T-Mark-Construction.com.
CCC 1331204.
Looking to upgrade your backyard, your business, or even your life? Then you've got to check out Southeast Portable Buildings right here in Tallahassee.
That's right. Southeast Portable Buildings has everything: sheds, cabins, carports, and now beautiful decks to go with them.
Imagine a brand new storage building and a deck out front. Perfect for that morning coffee or for your family gatherings.
Need something custom? No problem. They'll work with you to find exactly what fits your needs. Big or small, simple or stylish.
And with easy financing options, you can make your dream space happen sooner than you think.
Southeast Portable Buildings, where you're not just getting a building, you're getting a lifestyle upgrade. Give our friends a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400.
Southeast Portable Buildings.
Big buildings.
Big decks.
Big dreams.
Southeast Portable Buildings on West Tennessee Street, just north of Capitol Circle in Tallahassee.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Time for us to do the Who Went Above and Beyond vote. I don't know, segment? What do you want to call it? Who went above and beyond? Just say who went above and beyond? Is that how we want to do it?
It is a feature.
It is a feature. I'm just trying to think about it. It's not really a vote, though, is it? It's a you can nominate somebody. I can nominate somebody.
Yeah, and I think both of us are always correct. So these are just the people who did. These are the award winners.
Yeah. So I'll go first because I don't want you to beat me to it.
Very well.
I'm gonna take Joe Charles.
Okay.
You didn't think I was going there. He went 2 2/3, gave up 2 hits, struck out 5, only walked 1, and 0 runs given up from Joe Charles. That's when we had to have it. There you go, Joe.
I feel like the Avalanche a little bit because there's Mikko Rantanen, my guy. He's celebrating something else, achieved somewhere else. Joe Charles is my guy.
Yeah.
And he has been nominated and awarded by you.
Yes, he went above and beyond.
Okay.
Yeah. I took him from you.
You did. I was actually just going to look at Miles Bailey / the Florida State offense. That's where I would feature this week because Bailey, it needs to turn into such a threat that Max gets some better pitches. Mm-hmm. And I think this weekend went a long way to doing that, which makes Max an even better hitter instead of that drop off. You could see people were very careful after they get through Lodis, which sometimes it's a home run they give up. Sometimes it's
the one home run he hit was prodigious.
Yes, off the top of the board.
Yeah, that was a shot.
It would have had 2 if it weren't for Canarella stealing a game from us.
Yeah,
but I like the protection for Max that provides. It also adds another element. Usually, when Miles has that clearing, that watershed moment, he doesn't look back. So you combine what Miles brings to the table now with a weekend like he had against Clemson. And what Chase Williams brings to that lineup from the lower half of the order, this is starting to turn into not the powerful group from last year, but a versatile group.
Oh, very.
That you can flip the order. Hankerson either coming
I
off the
like
bench
Hankerson a lot,
or giving you one start a weekend. Fisher's got power. Carnes has power. Even Schmela this weekend got in on
There
the
you
act.
go, Schmela.
I'm like you and Ira when I say it doesn't mean that they're going to go on and do these great things, but they now know they have it in them when everything is falling apart around them. And you drop the first game or second game of the series in a heartbreaker, first game of a doubleheader, a quasi doubleheader, and then you're on the brink of blowing a 10-0 lead. You could still mash your way to a win. That's so important for this group.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I tell you about the great deals from Above and Beyond Vacation Rentals and your need to book now while you're thinking about it and how it is I'm going to save you money when you do so, I would just submit to you that if I had told you, Tom, that before this season, Alex Lodice was going to hit you 440 and ops over 1,300, that he was going to basically be all-world defensively, that he was going to hit 16 home runs, that his on-base percentage was going to be hovering around 500, that he would slug, over 800. You'd have said, come on, Cameron, that's ridiculous. But that's what Lodice has done to go along with the season we actually did predict that Max Williams would have. I said before the year I thought Max Williams would hit 20 home runs. He leads the team with 17. I think he'll get there.
Right on pace.
Miles Bailey, we had high hopes for as a freshman. I would not have guessed that he would be this late into his freshman campaign, hitting over 300, opsing over 1,000 with 11 home runs. His season as a freshman gives you a lot of reasons to get excited about what that guy is going to be before he leaves here. Kudos to Cal Fisher, who's also beginning to show the pop. Drew Farrow from both sides of the plate, now with 11 bombs, having the kind of season you were hoping for. I think they finally have their answers as to why you don't need to ever play Jackson West. And I'm not trying to be mean. The numbers speak for themselves. They're pitiful. So you've got answers all over the place. And I get excited about where the offense is going. I echo Tom's sentiments here. They can run. They've got pop. They get on base. Okay. Feeling pretty good.
I mean, of your regulars, you've got 10, 11 guys who are opsing over 900.
Mm-hmm.
Last year's group was prodigious. And we understand that. I mean, but they didn't have that many dudes opsing that high. They had more guys going over 1,000 and hitting home runs to the moon and leading the country in home runs. But this lineup is starting to develop a little bit more versatility. It needs to be elite in order for us to have a chance to win the whole thing. It's kind of turning into an elite lineup at the right time.
That's exciting. It really is. I'm with you on this. By the way, great rates through July for Florida residents. Don't stay landlocked. Call Above and Beyond VR today or visit aboveandbeyondvr.com to see the available listings. I've told you about over 30 properties, 18 of which have a pool. You can be right on the water, right on the Gulf. You could be right there downtown Dunedin. You can do all of it. Clearwater Beach, you're set. Starting at under $200 for Memorial Day, starting at under $250 for July the 4th.
I've got a listing right now for a week of June on the chat, and they've gone from per night pricing to all-in pricing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see what it costs you. So, for example, 3 nights in a Clearwater Beach cottage that has a bedroom but room for 4 people, $750 for 3 nights.
That's
all in.
beautiful.
That's all taxes. Like, it's all in.
Well, remember, none of that nonsense. No Airbnb fees, no middleman fees whatsoever.
I really like the Enchanted Inn in Clearwater.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the old school B&B cottage, but they have a full kitchen in them. Those are $565 first week of June for 3 nights. All in.
Damn.
$565.
I'm gonna book it before you do.
We could be neighbors. There's a
like, I booked it, Tom. You're screwed. I might do it. Yeah, it's actually fun. Go to aboveandbeyondvr.com and just like kind of float about. Take a look at where you want to be, what your options are. The website's fun because you see the beauty from on high. It's gorgeous.
You get to our place, the 3-night stays, $1,800 for 3 nights all in.
And where do you see this place? We were living in the lap of luxury. It was a luxurious 3-story condo.
Well, yeah, and look, if you want to go with another family,
yeah, it's nothing.
You split that thing in two.
Yeah,
I'm
forget
not
about
two
it.
families, just one other family. You go play some pinball in our special lower level.
Yeah, go over to King's Pizza.
I mean, it's just 10 steps away.
It's beautiful. It was good pizza.
Really good wrap. Remember, the wrap was good.
It was good. Above and Beyond VR.com. And it's time for some probables. Let's do it up, sir. Let's get to.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
A considerably different kind of series than the one the Dodgers just played against the Braves. This one will be against the Marlins. You know, the Marlins have been trying to shop Sandy Alcantara since he came back from Tommy John. He's all the way back this year. He's made all of his starts, hasn't missed any time. Here's the problem. He is a imposter. Got an ERA of over 8.3. It's hard to trade a Joker with an ERA of 8.31.
Yeah, coming off a bad year last year, too. That's a trend.
Jack Dreyer goes for the Dodgers. Alcantara goes for the Marlins. We got the Guardians and the Nationals. Luis Ortiz, Jake Urban, Padres, Yankees. Nick Pivetta, Carlos Rodon. Should be a good game. Reds, Braves, Brady Singer, A.J. Smith, Schauber. Stros, Brewers, Ronel Blanco, Tobias Myers. White Sox, Royals, Shane Smith, Cole Reagans, Tallahassee's own. Go get him, Cole. Giants, Cubs, Landon Raup, Matthew Boyd. Should be a good game. Pirates suck. Cardinals suck. Suckfest tonight in St. Louis. Marvin Majinski. It's not good. Miles Mikolas.
Yes.
We went with the meek part of that, yeah.
Well, yes, yeah. He puts the meek and meek.
Yeah. Mets, D-backs. Maybe too late for Tommy's blood. They ain't going to get that first pitch out there until near 10 o'clock at night.
9:40 is just enough to get me to watch a couple innings.
Yeah. Griffin Canning cheats at golf. He'll go for the Mets. Ryan Nelson goes for the D-backs. And late night, Mariners, A's. Cal Raleigh leads the majors in home runs. How about that? Bryce Miller goes for the Mariners. Luis Severino going for the A's. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. I want to point out that you should go see my guys, Don, Joe, Rusty. I think they're about due to put up a new ad board over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Lots of people have taken them up on this. They're doing a lot of things to help local businesses, including protecting you from chargeback fees, all those kinds of things that you need peace of mind from, and you need the expertise of tried and true consulting. I would say that's for sure. Let's get to it this summer. I know many that are. If you want to learn more about all of the things that they'll do and can do for you, point of sale, of course, I mention the ad boards all the time, but there's a lot. Give a call today, 844-463-6653. That is 844-463-6653. That's how you do that. And they'll give back some of their hard-earned money. The battle's in. 10%, in fact. Back to the boards we go. Brock wants to know, is the Cam Davis project over? It's a shame that it would be labeled a project, though. I mean, golly, you saw that kid. You looked at that body type. I know he was a quarterback in high school, but he ran it a ton. You figured, okay, that should translate. It's not over yet when you got a body like that, but obviously they don't feel good about the running back room, hence the reason they went in, brought in Sawchuk. I don't see the vision from him right now, and I think because he's indecisive, and I'm not talking about Sawchuk, I'm talking about Davis to answer your question, because he doesn't have the confidence right now, then you're seeing him play slow. He looks slow to me, and I don't mean like straight ahead speed. I mean, like processing the game. And that's not a comment on his intelligence. I don't know if he's smart or not. What I'm saying is when I watch guys who are uncertain, a lot of times they play slow. And I don't know if that's not that they're not seeing it. They're, it's not a complicated position. So I don't know what it is, but he hasn't had a lot of success. And, Mike challenged him a little bit to get in better shape. You remember those comments about got to play through some things and get lighter. So I don't know. It's tough.
No, I think it's fair to say at this point, he is most certainly an underdog to ever be the lead back at Florida State. Because Gus doesn't like to share the football. He doesn't like to distribute amongst 3 or 4 dudes. You bring in Sawchuk to play this year. Chroma's going to be the guy very soon. If not this year, then next. And Cam's going to have to compete with Usman Chroma next year and the year after that.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
It's not that it can't happen. It's just that he's an underdog now to ever be the lead back here.
I mentioned Brock and got to his question, but I failed to mention Troy and say happy Monday, happy Cinco de Mayo to you too, Troy. And I see you went green there, buddy. Way to go.
2 months.
All right. I like it. And we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody. We appreciate all you guys that are in the chat, all of you listening on 93.3, all of you are going back listening on the podcast, Tom. Got some yard work to do on this Cinco de Mayo. I may finish it off with a little bit of a margarita afterwards.
Did you finally get to it? You were taking some time from the lawn maintenance.
Yeah, I finally got to it. I need to get to some more. I got some more things I have to do. I have to go to the backyard and chop some branches and the like. Good stuff, Tom. Good stuff on a Monday.
Do you take pride in using the hacksaw or some sort of battle axe?
I've got a lot of cutting devices, and they're all going to get used in the next 3 days. There's things that are coming down. I'm tired of them. And it's getting hot, and the things are growing quick, and so I can see if I don't get out in front of it, I got a problem.
This is the week to get the rest, but you got some cool mornings.
Yeah, it may take a couple days later in the week. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, is that so?
Just letting you know.
Well, that affects me.
It could happen. It could happen. It's that time of year. It is May.
We don't even book a weekday tea time. You just let me know.
I will pass along that information for you. Good work out of you. Thanks to everybody. We appreciate you. Yeah, I'll be out there with a machete getting after it. You're right, Florida man in Bama. Till tomorrow. Peace.